Striker Scorpion 82 is now sponsored by Warhammer Combat Cards, a card battle game featuring your favourite Citadel miniatures from the 40k universe. Free to download and play, link is in the video description below or on the channel homepage, and by using the unique link it helps support the channel. Thanks and enjoy the game. Right, welcome to this review for the brand new Tau Codex. Big thank you to Games Workshop for sending me a copy through the post. Just before we get stuck into this, check out Goblin Gaming. They're the channel sponsors here. That's over discount 40k and other gaming systems, hobby accessories and so on. Then do check them out. Link for them is in the video description below. If you use the link from this channel here, then it does help the channel in a small way. So, and they'll be stocking this, you'll be able to get your Tau Codex, I think it's roughly about 20% off the standard price from Games Workshop. So, Tau Empire, been excited about this one. What we're hoping for is a nice straightforward codex. Obviously there's lots of layers going on now with the codexes, different rules and so on that you can add on, but just looking for simplicity of those, unlike the Adeptus Custodians where they've got some rules now that are quite complicated, hoping this is quite straightforward. Here for the Tau. Obviously got quite a Tau collection at the moment, so looking to change things up with the new codex, just to shift units around, try out something new and so on. So that's the plan with the Tau. Hopefully as this review goes live, I'm hoping if it works out okay, there should be a Tau battle report with the new codex for you to enjoy as well. So you can see the rules here, which will be a full review. I'll go through all the rules. So that's the plan. Full review here, so I'm going to flick through the lore, pictures and background story and so on, and then we'll get stuck into the rules. I have a Tau army, so I'm going to be looking at this to see what has changed, what good options are there to go for. So war gear, units, types, combinations, stratagems, all of that we'll cover in this video. So, as I said before, I love the format for new codexes, the artwork, the size of them, the layout, the design work, the effort that goes into them. It is top class from Games Workshop. The only criticism at the moment is these multiple layers of rules. Not that the rules are bad, but it's just that there's so much stuff can put people off from getting into the hobby, and then just ones that are already in the hobby, just new codexes with extra rules and so on, it just starts to become a bit top heavy. So that's one of the concerns. It's an ever growing realm. For the Tau, the different cast systems they have: Firecast, Earthcast, Watercast and Aircast. Ethereals. So there are some significant changes here. This is, I think, quite a big shake-up for the Tau. The way they operate, a lot of stuff has changed. If you've seen any of the rumours, there's a lot of powerful changes to their weaponry, which we'll take a look at. Battlefield support. Always love the concept of these supporting drones. These AI units that help the Tau out and their technology and so on. Just always love the theme of the Tau. In fact, it was seeing, I dropped out of the hobby and went into sort of regular wargaming. So historical type stuff. I got into 40k at about age 14, which was 2nd edition. Then dropped out through my late teens, early 20s. And then got back into 40k through seeing the Tau in a White Dwarf magazine that my brother got a hold of. I saw the Tau, I was like, right, I'm getting back into the Warhammer 40,000, because I hadn't seen them back in 2nd edition. And it was the Tau that got me back into the hobby. And then collected Eldar and called the channel Striker Scorpion 82, but always loved the Tau. Yes, Spheres of Expansion, one of the older pieces of artwork, fantastic bit of artwork. They always loved the Crisis battle suits. I want to know what that is. What is this? It's equipped with a, it must be a, oh, it's a stealth. I know what it is. Silly question. It's a stealth battle suit equipped with the fusion blaster, and these two large pieces here come down to form the front carapace there of the stealth battle suit. That's what that is. So at first glance, I wonder what that was. Tau, you've got all the different sets here. So I've sort of developed my own colour scheme. There is a painting tutorial for that on the channel. How to paint Tau, you can look that up, just that colour scheme that I've come up with. But my favourite after that would just be the original colour scheme, just the Tau set, that ochre colour desert. It's the Farsight Enclaves, Recruit. If they're any good, I've got quite a good number of these, so if they're any good I can bring them back into games. Nice colour scheme on these. Just their insignia and markings. That's the original sort of Tau colour scheme when they first came out. These workshops sort of preferring this one at the moment, Viola Sept. Then the Storm Surge, which firepower has increased in magnitude. The flies, which I always like, don't have any of the flies yet, but I always like the look of them. Some alternate colour schemes across here. Don't have the gun line, the defensive line yet, but a big fan of it. Looks fantastic. Maybe get a hold of that one day. And now we're on to the rules. So onto the rules then. Detachment abilities we'll start off with. So usual stuff here for keywords. You're swapping out Tau Empire, and then you're putting in your keyword, whatever it is. It might be Farsight Enclaves, whatever seps you decide to go for. Tau Empire detachments gain the Cadre Command ability, which is here. Farsight Enclaves detachments gain the Independent Power ability, which is this one here. And then Tau Empire units, excluding Tau Auxiliary units in Tau Empire detachments, gain the Sept Tenets ability, which is across here. Then troops units, such as your Fire Warriors, gain objectives secured. It's all pretty standard stuff so far. So Cadre Command. You can include a maximum of 1 commander model in each detachment in your army, excluding Farsight Enclaves detachments. So I'm thinking of running, I'd like to run 2 commanders in my new list. So I'd have to go for 2 detachments, I think, to do that. I think you can do it that way. You can include a maximum of 2 commander models in each Farsight Enclaves detachment in your army. It's a bit different for them. And then for Farsight Enclaves Independent Power, you cannot include any ethereal models in this detachment. So just a minor limitation there. And then Sept Tenets. Each Sept Tenet has its own combat philosophy suited to the skills of its warriors. If every unit from your army, excluding Tau Auxiliary, Supreme Command and Unaligned units, is from the same Sept, all Tau Empire units with this ability and all models in them gain a Sept Tenet. So that's your chapters for Space Marines and so on, which we'll come to those a bit later on. And then you can create your own if you don't go for one of the standard ones. So if your army's battle forged, units of Tau Empire detachment gain access to the following set rules, provided that every Sept unit. So just the usual structure for building an army here. You get Warlord Traits. Yeah. You get access to that, access to unique stratagems, signature systems or relics. And that's it. Okay, so all as expected here. So Tau, I'd previously been running mine as Tau, but I'm willing to shift. We'll see what the rules are for each of these septs here. So these are only like chapters from Space Marines, and you get a few extra bonus rules depending on which one you pick. So coordinated fire arcs here. Each time a unit of this tenet is selected to shoot or fight, you can reroll 1 hit roll or 1 wound roll and resolving that unit's attacks. So I'm immediately thinking this is a good idea because I'd like to run my hammerheads just to, continue on the tradition with them, and getting to reroll a single hit roll or wound roll with the railgun suits that unit very, very well. So I'm immediately thinking Tau Sept's pretty good. You add 3 inches to the range of aura abilities of models of this tenet, so handy enough. And then each time model in this tenet intones an invocation that is not an aura, or uses an ability in your command phase that specifies a range, add 3 inches to the range of that, so it helps out units like ethereals and so on. Okay, and the Warlord trait is, each time this Warlord would lose a wound, it's a 5+ feel no pain. Well, see, the 2 Tau commanders I'm thinking of running is 1 to hang at the back to support a fire base of firepower, whatever it is, vehicles, infantry, whatever, and then 1 to lead like a Manta assault, with crisis battle suits and so on. That one that's going to lead the assault, I want him to be quite tough and tanky and so on. So 5+ feel no pain would be very, very good indeed. Okay, and then the signature system or the relic is add 2 inches to the bearer's move Immediately that's going to help out battle suit. Then once per battle round, when the bearer is selected as the target of a charge, if it's not within engagement range of any enemy units, it can use this relic. If it does, it can make a normal move. To the end of that phase, the bearer cannot fire Overwatch or set to defend. Your opponent can select a new target for the charge. You can dodge a charge, potentially. These two working together. Well, that's all really good. And then you've got Focused Fire, which used to be 3 CP, it's now 2. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase when an enemy model loses any wounds as a result of an attack made by a Tau set model from your army. So the same kind of idea, trying to wound a target, or get wounds to come through against a target. And to the end of that phase, each time a Tau set core model from your army makes an attack against that enemy unit, add 1 to the attack's wound roll, +1 to the wound rolls. So, and it's 2 CP for that now. So, nice powerful stratagem. Brilliant. So I would imagine it's going to take a fair bit to shift me off of Tau, because that all seems to fit with what I'm thinking of doing quite well. But we'll see. We'll go over to the next ones here. So Viola Sept next. So strike fast is the Sept tenet. At the start of your first turn, each unit from your army that is wholly within deployment zone, to the end of the turn, add 2 inches to the move characteristics of models in that unit, +2 move, and you can reroll advance rolls and charge rolls made for units of this tenet as well. So, it's okay if you're looking to charge, then it can help. So if you're going to go hyper aggressive, then that's what these can do. Okay, and then Academy Luminary for the Warlord trait. While the Warlord is on the battlefield, each time you spend a CP to use this Tau Empire Strategic Ploy or War Gear Stratagem, roll 1d6 and a 3+. Command point is refunded. Okay. Signature system is the Automated Armour Defences. Commander model only. At the start of the shooting phase, roll 1d6 on a 2 to 4. The closest enemy unit within 18 and visible to the bearer suffers a mortal wound. On a 5+, the closest enemy unit within 12 suffers D3 mortal wounds. And then Hot-Blooded for 2 CP. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase when a Viola unit from your army selected to shoot. To the end of that phase, each time model in that unit, excluding drones, makes an attack that targets the closest eligible target. An unmodified wound roll of a 6 inflicts a mortal wound on the target in addition to any normal damage. Okay. So yeah, not bad. Not bad. It's beautiful artwork here. This looks really nice, the way they've laid these pages out. So as I said before, there's nothing actually, I don't think there's anything wrong, other than the Adeptus Custodes, if they're really complicated the section rules that they had. Other than that, generally speaking, the rules are fine. There's no problem with the rules as such. It's just the overload of too much going on. Too much of a good thing in a way, which is a shame. When a game just becomes focused on stuff you've forgotten. Just annoying. It's annoying for everybody. You know, you kick yourself at the end of the game thinking, I forgot that, and then that becomes what you focus on, which is a shame. I think some of the best games would have been back in 6th, 7th edition, playing against James. We just knew the rules. I remember the days you hardly had to look at the Codex. You just knew your rules off by heart. This is pre-stratagems, that's one area that seems to slow the game down. But where there was no stratagems back then, you just knew your rules, you had your units, and we just kicked out games pretty fast. Tau against Ultramarines, Tau vs Guard, and you just, most of your time was spent just moving the models, rolling the dice, playing the game, and there were times when you weren't looking at the book very much at all. So, and the games were great fun because the focus was on the actual gameplay as opposed to flicking through the book looking for rules and so on. So Sakia, however it's pronounced. Sept tenet is Masters of Urban Warfare. Each time a ranged attack targets a vehicle of this tenet. If the attacker is more than 18 inches away, then you get you get dense cover, so -1 to hit. Interesting. And then each time a ranged attack targets an infantry unit of this tenet, if the attacker is more than 12 inches away, you get dense cover as well. And then vehicle and battlesuit models of this tenet do not suffer the penalty incurred to their hit rolls for firing heavy weapons at enemy units whilst within engagement range of them. Okay, and then Warlord trait is Strategic Commander. In your command phase, select one friendly Sasia unit within 9 inches of the Warlord. To the start of the next command phase, the unit gains the objective secured ability. If If that unit already has this ability, then you get the models count as additional 1. Useful, especially for 9th edition with objectives being so crucial. Signature system is grab inhibitor field. Start of the fight phase. All enemy units within engagement range of the bearer are not eligible to fight this phase until after all eligible units from the army have done so. Pretty good. And each time melee attack is made against the bearer, subtract 1 from the target's hit roll. So I'm sensing there's going to be a bit more to help out the tower in close combat to a degree, because the way 9th edition works, smaller table, close proximity going on, the need to push forwards and grab objectives, tower you can't sit back and just blow anything that comes towards you and surrender 80% of the battlefield to the opponent. For 9th edition, you've got to gain half the board, control objectives and so on, so Tau have to go aggressive, so I'm sensing there's going to be a bit more help for them, a little bit, for close combat. So that's useful enough for that signature system. Orbital Uplink for 1 CP, use the stratagem in the shooting phase, select 1 enemy unit. At the end of the phase, each time model and a Sassier unit from your army makes a ranged attack against that enemy unit, the target does not receive the benefits of cover against that attack, so that's alright. Dalith, next. Trading partners for the Scepter Tenet. Each time a ranged attack is made against an infantry unit of this Tenet, if the attacker is not within engagement range of that unit, models in that unit benefit from a light cover. So Fire Warriors, 4 up save, 3 up save. If you selected a tactical philosophy at the start of the battle, Tau auxiliary units are in the same detachment as units of this Tenet. Benefit from your army's selected tactical philosophy. And then the Warlord trait is Unifying Influence. This Warlord gains the following abilities. So Diplomatic Excellence, whilst it's an aura ability, while a friendly Delith or Tau auxiliary unit, excluding character units, is within 6 inches of this Warlord, add 1 to their leadership. And then Integrated Command Structure and aura ability. While a friendly Tau auxiliary unit is within 6 inches, the unit is treated as not having the Tau auxiliary keyword for the purposes of Markelites rule. Okay, so nothing too significant. And then signature system, dynamic mirror field. The bearer cannot be selected as a target for ranged attacks unless it's the closest eligible target to the firing model. Firing models within 12 inches of it, or the firing models within 12 inches of it. So just shutting down the ability for the opponent to target that bearer. And there's a 5+ invuln save as well available. And you've got Outflank ability. Use a stratagem at the end of the movement phase. Select on Delith Core or Tau auxiliary unit from your army that is within 9 inches of any battlefield edges. If the mission you're playing is using the strategic reserves rule, you can remove that unit from the battlefield and place it in strategic reserve. So I was just thinking the way simplifying stuff, I would have I guess it's better organised. Before in the previous codex you had the odd stratagem, the odd relic, warlord trait that was specific to each sept. They've split it up now into clear areas. It's not too complicated, I guess. It's not too bad. Just trying to think of the way the codexes can bog the game down and what to limit. We've tried limiting stratagems for a game. It seems to work quite well. Just sort of 6 you're allowed. You pick 6 and just use those throughout the game. Saves you keep flipping through the book all the time, going through all the stratagems. That's helped, I think, but they're looking for other ways of simplifying stuff. Borken. Next, so superior craftsmanship for these. Add 4 inches to the range characteristic of range weapons. So across the board, fine. Each time a range attack is made with this weapon that has a strength characteristic of 7 or less against a vehicle or battlesuit, subtract 1 from the strength characteristic of that attack. Interesting. A Warlord trait, Seeker of Perfection. Each time the Warlord makes a ranged attack, improve the armor penetration characteristic of that attack by 1. And a modified wound roll of 6 inflicts a mortal wound on the target in addition to any normal damage to a maximum of 3 mortal wounds per phase. So it'd be pretty good on a commander with a load of burst cannons, for example. Just like a high yield number of shots come through. Signature system is Overdrive Power Systems. Commander model. Select up to 2 ranged weapons this model is equipped with. Each time the bearer makes a ranged attack with one of those weapons that targets unit within half range, add 1 to the attack's wound roll. Nice. So looking at a bit of a combo going on here. I've seen this already. Taking the trait and the signature system side by side on the same model. because that benefits that nicely. We've seen that on the previous one of the previous ones as well. I think it was Tau Sept. +1 to your wound rolls. Extra AP -1. 6s inflict mortal wounds. Yeah. Experimental weaponry. Use this stratagem. There's one other thing to point out. People are saying the Tau firepower is very strong, which is true. But across the board in 40k, we're seeing an increase in the caliber of weaponry at the moment. That will help games speed up because stuff will die quicker. So that's one positive that comes from it. You know, you're getting up to the point where some weapons are you fire once and destroy a target, which in previous editions like 7 used to happen all the time. You could one-shot, you know, a laser cannon could one-shot destroy another tank. The hammerhead railgun used to be able to do it. I think it's like a 4+ on the damage chart. Would blow something up sky high. So you're getting back to that kind of one-shot, one-kill type approach. Yes, you're going to see it with the Tau, but you're going to increasingly see it, I think, with the newer codexes and so on. Just the ability for units just to kill stuff quicker, which will inevitably speed games up. Experimental weaponry. 2 CP. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase and a Balkan unit from your army selected to shoot. Each time one model unit and one weapon select one model and a weapon that they're equipped to until the end of the phase. Each time the model makes an attack with that weapon, invuln saves cannot be taken against that attack. Ouch. That's pretty good. And then we're on to Farsight Enclaves here. So each time, this is a devastating counter strike. So if you're thinking of an aggressive type Tau army, then it would be this one here, the Farsight Enclaves. Very strong themed and sort of aggressive Tau Sept. So each time a model of this tenet makes a ranged attack, the target's unit within 12, the target's treated as having a marker-like token. That is very, very good indeed. Very, very good. And each time a unit of this tenet is selected to shoot or fight, you can reroll 1 wound roll when resolving that unit's attacks. That's pretty good as well. So strong enough for Farsight Enclaves. The Warlord trait, Master of the Killing Blow. So each time the Warlord makes an attack, a modified wound roll of a 6, improve the AP penetration of that attack by 3. Very helpful for a low caliber weapon, such as a burst cannon. The model that that attack is allocated to cannot use any rolls to ignore wounds either. So strong stuff here for Farsight Enclaves. And then signature system, the Talisman of the Arthas Moloch. In your opponent's psychic phase, the bearer can attempt to deny a psychic power as if it were a psyker. Add 1 to deny the witch tests as well, so useful enough. And drop zone clear, 3 or 2 CP. So use this stratagem in your movement phase when the Farsight Enclaves battlesuits unit from your army is set up on the battlefield using the mental strike ability or the homing beacon action. At the end of that turn, each time a battlesuit model from that army makes a ranged attack, you can reroll the hit roll. You can reroll the wound roll. If that unit contains 4 or more battlesuits, it's 3 CP, otherwise it's 2, and that is very, very powerful, game-changing killer stratagem there for Farsight Enclaves. So I'd like to stick with Tau, but I think the Farsight have come out better here. It's powerful stuff with them. Deadly stratagem, a useful relic, brilliant warlord trait, and solid Sept tenet for them. Nice. So then you got your expanding empire. I think you just sort of zonal type what sector you choose for what sept they're aligned to. Is the way it works. So if your chosen sept does not have an associated sept tenet on pages 56-61, you can instead create your own sept tenet. You do this by either selecting the allied world sept tenet opposite, or by selecting 2 tenets from the sector list shown on the following pages. You select 2. That tenet cannot be selected from the same sector as the first tenet that you choose. That tenet must be selected from a list corresponding to a sector that is adjacent, as shown on the map opposite to the one you selected your first tenet from. So again, careful, Games Workshop, don't get too... keep it easy going. Okay. So, but that's it really. So here's an example given here. So for his first tenet, Stephen selects defensive doctrines from list for Sector B. Sector B is adjacent to Sector A and C. So for his second tenet, he must select one from either of those two sectors. He chooses pinpoint targeting, and for his set tenet, I guarantee it's the same person that wrote this is the same person that did the Custodian's complicated rule, but this one's much easier. They must have told him to, he or she, they must have told him just to tone down the, the complexity of what could have been a real spaghetti junction of choosing tenets. So quite straightforward. If you go here, I got it right. If you choose Sector D, pick one from there, and then you have to go to a neighbouring sector for your second. So Sector A or Sector E. So, I don't know why. What is the point of doing that? Why not just say choose two from the following list? But whatever, that's the way they've structured it. So Sector A then, and you have to go for your own combinations here that are crossover, because you can take some from here, but you might not be able to take any from that, just the way they've structured it. So Sector A then strikes swiftly. At the start of the first battle round, before the first battle begins, an infantry unit from your army at the start of the battle wholly within your deployment zone can make a normal move up to 6 inches, as long as you stay more than 9 inches away. The next one is play their part. Battle suit models from this tenet have a wounds characteristic of 9 or less, count as 3 models when determining the control of an objective marker. Battle suit models of this tenet have a wounds characteristic of 10 or more, count as 5. Adherence to the teachings, add 3 inches to the range of aura abilities models this tenet to a maximum of 12, and each time model this tenet intones an invocation that is not an aura or uses an ability in your command phase that specifies a range out of 3 inches to the range of that invocation or ability. And then the other option is calm under pressure. Each time model this tenet makes a ranged attack with an assault weapon that targets unit within 12, add 1 to the strength characteristic of that attack. Yes, if it were me, I would have just done 1 page of these, pick whichever two you want. That's it. I think that's the way to. But anyway, the stuff's here, and you've got the depth, so you can really customise your own Sept tenet. No problem. Camouflage Experts, if you're in Sector B, each time a ranged attack is made against an infantry unit of this tenet, it's entirely on within a terrain feature. If the attacker is more than 12 inches away, then the unit of this tenet is treated as receiving the benefits of dense cover. Defensive doctrines, each time melee attack with an armor penetration characteristic of -1 or -2 is allocated to this model. Was charged. If that model was charged this turn, that attack has an armor penetration characteristic of 0 instead. And then blocking tactics, each time a core infantry unit of this tenet makes a charge move to the start of the charge phase, core models in that unit have the objective secured ability. If such a model already has this ability, that model counts as one additional model when determining control and objective marker. And then Farsight or Firecast Marksman, each time model of this tenet makes a ranged attack with a pulse weapon, unmodified wound roll of 6, and improve the AP by 1. So it's all sort of tiddly bits, not really that incredible. I'll push through these here, but it's all sort of little tweak, little bonuses going on with these. Evasion manoeuvres here for Sector C. Each time this tenet advances until the start of your next movement phase, models in that unit that can fly have a 5+ invuln save. Pinpoint targeting. Each time model this tenet makes a ranged attack that targets unit within 12. The target does not receive the benefits of light cover for that attack. Disengagement protocols. Each time an infantry unit of this tenet is selected to fall back, select one unit within engagement range of that infantry unit, roll 1d6. On a 2 to 3, the enemy unit suffers a mortal wound. On a 6, it's d3 mortal wounds. That's yeah, no, it's not that great. It's just, it's nothing. It's just a much to it at all. We just cause mortal wounds, really. That's about it. I thought it was per model, which would be deadly, but it's not, I don't think. Fire saturation. Each time model this tenet makes a ranged attack with a burst weapon, targets unit within 12, add 1 to the attack's hit roll. But very specific little bonuses, like it has to be a burst weapon, has to be range 12, and then you get +1 to hit rolls. So it's quite narrow. So you really are looking for quite a strong famed army, like lots of burst cannons to get the worth of that. Reliable weaponry. So each time a unit of this tenet is selected to shoot, you can reroll 1 wound roll when resolving that unit's attacks. Quite straightforward. Defenders of the cause. Each time model of this tenet, excluding drone models, would lose a wound as a result of a mortal wound. So 5+ feel no pain, so handy if you're up against psychos all the time. Reinforced armor. Each time a ranged attack is made with this weapon that has a strength characteristic of 7 or less against a vehicle or battlestate unit with this tenet, subtract 1 from the strength characteristic of that attack. Rolls you could easily forget during a game. We've talked about stuff that you forget easily. In middle of battle, people rolling up dice, rolling to wound, and you can just keep missing that all the time. And then hardened warheads. Each time model in this tenet makes a ranged attack with a missile weapon, the target doesn't receive the benefits of cover against that attack. So it's quite minor sort of bonuses going on here. And then turbojets for Sector E. Add 2 inches to the move characteristic of models of this tenet that can fly. Loyal to the end. Add 1 to the leadership characteristic of models. Each time a morale test is taken, you can reroll that test. Rapid retreat. Each time a unit with this tenet falls back, add 3 inches to the distance they can fall back. Very insignificant rules here. And then enriched reactors. Each time model of this tenet makes a ranged attack with a plasma weapon. See, it's specific again. An unmodified wound roll of 6 inflicts a mortal wound. And the attack sequence ends. So, yeah. So, yeah, I think there's sort of a bit of a waste going on with these. I would have just done half the number of them, got rid of the sector idea, and just had those for people who really wanted to customise their own. Yeah, would have kept it simpler, but anyway. So we're on to stratagems now. The average number for a codex is 4 pages. 4 pages of stratagems. What we've done in our games or recent game is just to say, right, you pick 6 and use those throughout the game. So just like a house rule, just to keep things straightforward. But we're looking for some golden nuggets here, some real powerful ones. And usually in a game you've got 5, 6, 7 stratagems that you use as your core ones that you're going to use, depending on the sort of style that you're playing with your army, what you want them to do. Because it's a lot in a game to keep going through all the stratagems and so on. So breach and clear. Some of these sound familiar, but we'll check out and see if these are any good. So breach and clear. Use your stratagem in shooting phase 1 CP when a breach unit from your army is selected to shoot. So until the end of that phase, each time a core model in that unit makes a ranged attack, the target doesn't receive the benefits of cover, and you can reroll your wounds. Well, that's excellent. That's fantastic. Really, really good. Reroll all your wounds, strip cover. Powerful, and it's 1 CP, so that's a brilliant stratagem. Next, Relentless Fuselage. 1 CP. Use your stratagem in your shooting phase when a strike team unit from your army is selected to shoot until the end of the phase. Instead of following the normal rules for rapid fire weapons, models of that unit shooting pulse rifles make double the number of attacks. Okay. And then each time a core model in that unit makes a ranged attack, improve the AP by 1. Brilliant. So they're trying to help out Tower Fire Warriors now. So squad of 10, 20 attacks at long range, and extra AP -1 on there as well. Yeah, great. That's very, very useful for Tower Fire Warriors. Just give them a little bit more punch. So this is all very good news here. And the other thing is, just to mention it, but the other thing when you limit the stratagem, say you're going to run 6, and in the previous battle reports, some people have been saying, oh, we do that as well in our games, is it's very tactical. You're choosing what you think you're going to use. It's a bit like selecting your psychic powers. You've got a lot to choose from, and then you narrow it down and pick which ones you want. You're doing the same with stratagems. It means you're just limiting, you're sort of building a tactic of what you're going to do, and you're limiting, you've got the varieties there, so you're not taking any away from the depth of the codex. So you've got that depth there initially, but then you're specifically choosing ones you're going to use in the game. And then each battle you play, you might end up tweaking, which ones you're actually going to take. It just smooths the game out, and if both players are abiding by that, then it's both are at the same advantage, disadvantage. So onboard sensors next to 1 CP. Use your stratagem at the start of the shooting phase. Select 1 Devilfish model from your army and an enemy unit within 24 invisible. At the end of that phase, the Devilfish model gains the following ability. So Sensor Link. While a friendly Sept Fire Warrior team is within 6 inches of this model, each time model in that unit makes a ranged attack against a selected enemy unit, reroll hit rolls of 1. Yeah. Okay, well, that's not bad, yeah. Okay, well, try and get the Devilfish to be a bit helpful, to work in partnership with Fire Warriors. Okay. Does it help breaches? Initially I'm thinking no. We'll have a little look. Yes. It will help breaches. Its keywords here is Infantry Corps, Fire Warrior Team for the breacher. Yeah, breacher team, Fire Warrior team. So that will work quite nicely with breachers. So the old combo of the Devilfish and breachers, or Devilfish and Fire Warriors, it gives you some stratagems to make it more worth your while. Interesting. Dynamic Offensive, next 1 CP. Use a stratagem movement phase when a crisis battlesuit army from your army is selected to move at the end of the turn. Each time you advance, it's an automatic 6 inches. And models in that unit do not suffer the penalty for hit rolls incurred for firing assault weapons in the same turn in which they advance. So again, 1 CP, nice and cheap for some pretty powerful benefits. Pulse Onslaught. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase and a Fire Warrior team unit from your army selected to shoot. Until the end of that phase, each time a core model in that unit makes an attack with a pulse weapon, unmodified hit roll of 6 automatically wounds the target. There's stackable stuff going on here, so you can stack stratagems up, and they're cheap. So now you're starting to see, I don't notice this as much with previous codexes and editions, but here you're starting to see it now in more recent codexes where there's a lot more stacking of stratagems possible. Point blank volley. More help for Fire Warriors. What is going on here? 1 CP. Use a stratagem at the start of the shooting phase. Select a Fire Warrior team from your army that's within engagement range of enemy units. At the end of that phase, pulse blasters, pulse carbines, and pulse rifles that models equipped with have the type characteristic of pistol 2. Ha! So you can fire into close combat. Well, well, well. Just coming into this codex thinking, right, let's look at all the heavy weapons and the heavy units, how good are they going to be? But they're helping out the infantry here a lot of good bonuses going on to actually make them, because to be honest there wasn't much to them really in the previous codex. They were not really much to be feared, just no AP minus going on. They were just not, there was no real punch with them. People tried with breaches and so on, but now with stratagems, your infantry have got a bit of sting in the tail. And these are all good stratagems. All of these look pretty good. Drop threat acquisition. 3 or 2 CP. Use a stratagem movement phase in a battlesuits unit from army set up on the battlefield using Mental Strike or the homing beacon action. At the end of the turn, each time a battlesuit model in that army makes a ranged attack, you reroll the hit roll. If that unit contains 4 or more battlesuit models, the stratagem costs 3 CP, otherwise it's 2. That's utterly deadly. Game changer, killer stratagem. You'd gladly pay 3 CP. You've got a big unit of battlesuits coming down. Rerolling all of your hits is so useful. Yep. So that's excellent. So we're off to a flying start here with the Tau. This will crank up the Tau hate. Just if you're a Tau player watching this, just have to ignore the hate, keep going, and blow stuff off the board without mercy. A lot of 40k players, they like things being wiped out through close combat and getting stuck in, but for Tau it's different. We don't go near the unclean. We blast them off the board, is how we operate. Nice, clean, precise firepower. Deletion of units is preferred here through superior firepower. So just ignore it. People complain, and they will when when they get shot to bits by the Tau, but that's always been the way. Just keep going, keep firing, and then no no remorse. So sometimes, you know, turns 1 and 2, just get earplugs. just focus on the game. Save your protocols 1 CP. Use a stratagem in any phase. While a saving throw is failed for a model with a sept unit from your army, select one friendly drone model within 3 inches of that unit or within 6 inches of that unit if it contains a model equipped with a drone controller. That drone model is destroyed and the damage characteristic of the attack is changed to 0. Okay, so save your protocols now becomes a stratagem, which is tricky because that's once per phase. Yes, because it's any phase. So combat or shooting, it's a stratagem. Okay, well it's there in some form at least. Very useful. Branched, Nova Charge. 2 CP. Use this stratagem in your command phase when a Riptide battlesuit model from your army uses its Nova Reactor ability and it burns out. The model's Nova Reactor does not burn out, and you can select one of its reactor abilities. The stratagem cannot be used to prevent the same model's reactor from burning out more than once per battle. It does cost you 2 CP for that, but it's there if you need it as a backup. Combat Debarkation. 1 CP. Combat Debarkation, yeah. Debarkation. Use this stratagem at the start of the movement phase. If you selected the Monte Carlo tactical philosophy at the start of the battle and it is the first, second or third battle round, select up to 3 Devilfish models from your army. If you select the KOYO tactical philosophy at the start of the battle and it is the third, fourth or fifth battle round, select up to 3 Devilfish models. Otherwise select 1 Devilfish model from your army. To the end of the phase, each time one of those models makes a normal move, after it has moved, any units embarked within the transport can disembark. Any units that do so cannot charge this turn. Well, 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 interesting one there. Nice tactical flexibility going here, and again, helping you build a real sort of strong infantry base here with the use of stratagems again for the tower. There's some great combinations going on here. Next, Wisdom of the Many for 2 CP. Use a stratagem at the start of any of your phases other than your command phase. Select one ethereal model from your army that is not intoned. An invocation this turn. That model can intone 1 invocation that has not already been intoned by a friendly model this turn. That invocation is automatically inspiring, do not roll, and takes effect at the start of your next command phase. So I'm not sure about carry on with ethereals or not. I depended on them a fair bit throughout the different editions. I was a big fan of the ethereals, but with my new tower list, I'm thinking maybe of going for something a lot more fluid with the units, so models moving around, mechanized, crisis battlesuits, and other models I'm working on at the moment, bringing back other units I haven't used for a while, so really mixing things up with the tower. So I'm going to review the Codex here. For a new tower list, I'll do an army development video that'll be on YouTube channel membership, so if you remember already, you can keep a lookout for that. And then if you're haven't joined the channel yet, then we have an army development video series where I develop lists ahead of time and subscribers have a chance to interact and make their own suggestions and so on. So that's where you'll see the first emergings of a brand new tower list. But I do want to mix things up. We'll go for a fluid, aggressive, firepower type army. I think is the way to go. Should be quite fun for the tower, all being well. But having said all that, the infantry are well equipped here. A failsafe detonator, 1 CP. Use a stratagem in any phase and a battlesuit model from your army is destroyed. Before removing that model from play, instead of using any rules that are triggered when that model is destroyed, such as explodes, roll 1d6 for each unit within 3. Adding 1 to the result if the destroyed model has a wounds characteristic of 12 or more. On a 3 to 5, it's D3 mortal wounds. On a 6+, it's 3 mortal wounds. 3 to 5. Nice. Yeah, that's quite potent, the failsafe detonator. Worth keeping in your back pocket. Again, you're in the thick of the action, you know, it's the way 9th edition works, then if you die that can explode. Very cool. Backup AI, 1 CP. Use a stratagem in your command phase, select 1 Tower Empire model from your army into the start of your next command phase. The model is considered to have its full wounds remaining. So, brilliant. So I have to hand it to Games Workshop. The stratagems are completely redone. Reworked, fresh rules, and there's a point to all of them, so it's all good. Emergency dispensation, it's extra warlord trait. No, it's extra relic, sorry. Yep. Then a promising pupil, an extra warlord trait. I need to read the whole thing there. I'll go on to the next double spread here. So the Orbital Iron Beam, wonder how good this is. So 2 CP. Now use your stratagem in your command phase, select 2 Iron Beam markers. Place 2 Iron Beam markers anywhere on the battlefield within 12 inches of each other. So you put them out and then it's a line that runs between the two. At the start of the next command phase, draw a straight imaginary line between the 2 Iron Beam markers and then roll 1d6 for each unit that the line crosses over, adding 1 to the result. Being rolled for if it's a building. On a 2 to 5, that unit suffers D3 mortal wounds, and on a 6, it's 3 mortal wounds. Okay, so it's 2+ to do something. 6 is a straight 3 mortal wounds. There's no minuses for hitting characters. So if your opponent is densely packed on the board with multiple units, then for 2 CP I think that's worth going for, so that's improved. I'm just... Yes, just missed that. So you use it in your command phase, you place the markers on the board, and then it actually, the beam comes in at the start of your next command phase. Your opponent's got time to move out of the way of that beam. Blah. So yeah, buildings could be in trouble, but a building 2 or 3 wounds, 1, 2 or 3 wounds. Orbital ion beam, yeah, don't think that's gonna. I understand that there's a delay in it coming down. You call it in and there's a delay, but it's probably pointless. Your opponent's just gonna move out of the way. Wall of mirrors. Use your stratagem at the end of your movement phase. Select one. This is 1 CP. Use select one stealth battlesuits or ghost skill battlesuit model from your army. It's wholly within 9 inches of any battlefield edges. Remove that unit from the battlefield, and they can come back in again next turn, as long as they're more than 9 inches away from any models. The Grisly Feast. Use a stratagem in the fight phase when an enemy unit is destroyed by an attack by a model in a Kroot unit from your army. At the end of the battle, each time a model in that Kroot unit would lose a wound, it's a 5+ feel no pain. So, yeah, if you want to spend points on Kroot. I'm wondering how good the Kroot are now. We'll see, there's one coming up here for the Kroot. I'm a massive fan of the Kroot models, the sculpt on them, like the infantry Kroot warriors, it's fantastic. But coordinated engagement here for 1 CP. Use the stratagem in your shooting phase before selecting a unit to shoot with. Select 1 enemy unit and 2 sept units from your army within 18 inches are visible to the enemy unit. To the end of the phase, each time that unit makes an attack, the attack can only target that enemy unit, and only if it's eligible, and improve the AP by 1. So not bad, it's only 1 CP for that one. A trap well laid. So also noticing, with the help of stratagems and Warlord Traits and sept tenets and so on, your low caliber weaponry with low AP can be helped by stacking up multiple abilities. You can start getting AP 0 turning into AP -1, -2, -3 potentially if you stack things up correctly. So a trap well laid here. 1 CP. Use your stratagem at the heroic intervention. Step your opponent's charge phase. Select 1 Kroot unit from your army. It's not within engagement range. Add 1 to the attacks characteristic of models in that unit. The unit is eligible to perform heroic intervention. This is all good. And then the unit is eligible to perform heroic intervention as if it was within 6 inches. Or if it is within 6 inches horizontally of an enemy unit, and when performing a heroic intervention, move with that unit, you can move each model up to 6 inches instead of 3, and that's great. So that's a nice stratagem, that one. If the timing of it and the situation is just right, it's a tricky one, but it's there if you need it. Recon Sweep for 1 CP. Use your stratagem in the shooting phase, and the Pathfinder team unit from your army successfully completes the Fire Marker Light's action. Each time you roll to see if an enemy unit gains a Marker Light, it's add 1 to the roll, and that unit can make a normal move. Add 1 to the roll, yeah. And you can make a normal move as well. Recon Sweep is fantastic. Well. Interesting. Yeah, very useful. And then Shocking Firestorm, 1 CP. Use your stratagem in your shooting phase. When a sept unit from your army is selected to shoot, select 1 enemy unit within 18 of that sept unit. At the end of that phase, each time model in that enemy unit is destroyed as the result of an attack made by a model in that sept unit, the destroyed model counts as 2 destroyed models for the purposes of the morale test being taken. So, yeah. And then the Counter-Fire Defense System. Use your stratagem in your opponent's shooting phase. When an attack is allocated to a Counter-Fire Defense System model from your army, the damage characteristic of that attack is changed to 1. If that model has a wounds characteristic of 14 or more, it costs 2 CP, otherwise it's 1. Counter-Fire Defense System. Yeah, it's powerful. It's powerful. The damage is reduced to 1. Not -1, but it becomes 1. So damage 4 becomes damage 1. Yeah, I'm just checking the wording of it here. So, Yeah, it's when an attack, I think it's a single attack. This is what I'm checking it. I think it's worded that way. So it's a single attack that comes through. So it's not like you've been charged and your opponent's got 30 attacks, all at damage 3, and they're all reduced to damage 1. I don't think so. It's, unless I'm wrong, but the damage of that attack is changed to 1. Your opponent's shooting phase when an attack is allocated to counter fire. Yeah, so I think it could be one attack's coming in and that a single attack is allocated to that unit. You then play stratagem and it reduces the damage down. So if it's d6 damage, you play that card and then it becomes damage of 1, whatever they roll. Or if it applies across the board. So I think Russ is going to fire damage 3 with Relic Battle Cannon. Are all of those attacks then damage 1? Not totally sure on that one. Designated tasking, 1 CP. Use a stratagem in your command phase. Select 1 Tau Empire unit from army that's not within engagement range of any units and contains both drone models and models without the drone keyword. Split that unit into 2 units, one containing all of the drone models and the other containing all the models with the drone keyword. If any of those drone models are docked with another model, set them up within an inch of that model they're docked with before splitting the unit. These drone models are no longer docked with that model. Okay, so it costs us a CP to do it. Next, strike and fade, 1 or 2 CP. Use your stratagem at the start of the shooting phase. Select 1 Tau Empire jetpack unit from your army. You can shoot with that unit and then it can make a normal move up to 6 inches. The unit cannot shoot again this phase. If it contains 5 or fewer models, then it's 1 CP, otherwise it's 2. Yeah, it's like a fire and fade on it. That was very, very tactically, very, very useful. Frequency lock. So you can shoot the unit and then make a normal move up to 6. You can't shoot again. Whether they'll have to clarify this one, you get to make a normal move. So you've moved with your battle suits, you shoot, you make a normal move. Does it say you can't charge? I don't think. Yeah, they'll have to, I think they may need to clarify that one because you're going to have battle suits jumping. I think they're movement 8 now, so or 10 I think. So movement 10, shoot, movement 10 and then charge. Oh boy. Yeah, and you'll get people, it'll be abused, you'll get people will just shoot for the sake of shooting, just to get the extra move. Yeah. It says you can't shoot again this phase, that's fine. There's no limitation on not being able to charge, so that may be updated. Frequency lock, 1 CP. Use your stratagem in shooting phase when a Tau Empire model from your army is selected to shoot until the end of the phase. Each time that model makes an attack with a Seeker missile rack, or destroyer missile, that attack can target units that with 1 or more marker-like tokens that are not visible to the attacking model, and it's +1 to the attack's wound roll as well. So pretty good. It's just 1 CP for that one. Next is the NeuroWeb System Jammer for 1 CP. Use your stratagem in your shooting phase. Select 1 enemy unit within 18 and visible to the NeuroWeb System Jammer unit from your army. Roll 1d6 on a 3+ until the start of the next shooting phase. Each time model that unit makes an attack, subtract 1 from the hit roll. So yeah, useful. Repulsor Impact Field, 1 CP. Use your stratagem in your opponent's charge phase. A battlesuit unit from your army selected as the target of a charge until the end of the phase. Subtract 2 from the charge rolls made. For any unit that declares a charge against that battlesuit unit. So, question. Yep, just a question here. I'm thinking of running the hazard battlesuits. It's -2 to charge rolls against them. But does it stack with this? In which case, creating -4. Just a question, just wondering. Because that would be pretty potent. And then Ionized Shock Field, 2 CP. Use your stratagem in your shooting phase and a model when an enemy unit is destroyed as a result of an attack made by an iron weapon by a sept model from your army. To the start of the next shooting phase, that enemy unit is not affected by the aura abilities of other enemy units. Okay. Right, not sure about that one. Sub-munitions, this is for hammerheads here. If that 1 CP uses model If that model is equipped with a railgun, instead of making attacks with that weapon this phase, select one enemy unit that's not within engagement range and within 36 inches invisible. Roll 1d6 for each model in that unit, adding 1 to the result if the unit has 11 or more models. A 4+, or it could be a 3+ if it's a large enough target. It's a mortal wound. And it's capped. Oh, they've capped it at 3. No, they've capped it at 8 mortal wounds. Well, submunitions. God, dear me, deadly. Photon grenades, 1 CP. Use this stratagem in your opponent's charge phase when a photon grenade unit from your army is selected as the target of a charge. Declared with an enemy unit. At the end of that turn, subtract 2 from the charge rolls. Again, useful. Very, very useful. And then it's -1 to your attack hit roll as well. 1 CP. And that's it. So, fine. Stratagem seems strong, helpful, useful, and a noticeable amount dedicated to helping out the infantry and so on. But they all look pretty good. There's some real powerful ones in there. So all looking strong enough for the tower here as far as stratagems are concerned. So on to prototype systems next. So this is where you're paying points or power level to upgrade what you have. If your army's battle forged includes any Tau Empire detachments, excluding auxiliary super heavy fortifications, then when you're mustering your army, you can upgrade any of the following models in your army by giving them a prototype system. So you can give them to commanders, Crisis Chasseret, that's the unit leader, Crisis Bodyguard Chasseret models, and Ghost Kill Chasseret models as well. Yeah, hang on a second. It doesn't quite make sense. Just have a little look here. So Ghost Kill Chasseret, that's a normal model. Yeah, Chasseret is a squad leader. Ghost Kill's a single model. Sorry, just going back here. Ghost Kill's still as a single choice. Yes. Yep. Okay. So it's the squad leaders of each. That's interesting. So you get some nice combos. There's loads to choose from here. Some nice combinations for your crisis squad leaders. So it's just talking about increasing the power level points and what it replaces. Named characters cannot be given prototype systems. Each model can only have 1 prototype system. An army or a crusade force cannot include the same prototype system more than once. Prototype systems are not considered to be relics for any rules purposes. This means that a character model can be equipped with both a relic and a prototype system. Well, well, well. So you do have to pay the points for it here. But hyper customization you can go for. So you're stacking up relics, warlord traits, and prototype systems. Okay. So Star Flare Ignition System. So Cold Star Commander. This will cost you power level 1 or 20 points. Once per battle, when the bearer starts or ends a move, or when it uses its high altitude manoeuvres ability before moving it from the battlefield, it can use this prototype system. If it does, roll 1d6 for each other unit within 3 inches of this model, and a 2+, that unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. It's like a parting gesture as you leave. Sensory, so it's quite tricky to get that to go off whether it's worth that 20 points. Sensory negation countermeasures. And that's 15 points to this on a 1 power level. Commander or crisis model only. Once per battle at the start of the fight phase, the bearer can use this prototype system. If it does, select one enemy unit within engagement range of the bearer's unit to the end of the next turn. Each time model when that enemy unit makes an attack, subtract 1 from the attack's hit roll. So, yeah. Okay, so dare I say it, but if you're going to simplify Codex, just to scrub this whole section. Oh, I don't know, but the depth's there if you want it. I guess really you're going through these and picking 1 or 2 of these out and then just using them in the game. Yeah, but these are quite not that great, I don't think. Alternating Fusion Blaster. Oh, this sounds nice. So we're looking at 25 points for this one. So Commander Crisis model equipped with one or more fusion blasters. This prototype system replaces one fusion blaster. So it can't be all of them, just one of them can become the alternating one. So range 12, which is the same assault 1, strength 8, -4 and d6 +2 damage. Each time an attack is made with this weapon, if a hit is scored, draw a straight line between the closest point of this model's base or hull and that of the closest model in the target unit. Make one rune roll against the target unit and each other unit this line passes over. So again, another tricky one to use. Got to get that lined up just right for that to work. And it's 25 points. Yeah, I wouldn't bother with that one either, I don't think. And then DW02 Advanced Burst Cannon. 15 points or 1 power level for this one. But Commander of Crisis equipped with a burst cannon. The prototype system replaces that. So you get range 18, assault 8, strength 6, -1, 1 damage. Each time attack is made with this weapon, locating it to a model. The model cannot use any abilities to ignore the wounds. So yeah, again, it's okay. And then Nova Surge Plasma Rifle, which will cost you 20 points for this one, 1 CP. Models equipped with one or more plasma rifles only. It replaces one plasma rifle. It gives you range 30, assault 1, strength 8, -5, 3 damage, and ignoring invuln saves. So again, it's okay. The way I approach, I think, HQ choices is to upgrade them with Warlord Traits, Relics, and Stratagems, which cost you nothing in points. And the idea is you're amplifying your abilities through that means, as opposed to paying out points here for prototype systems. Because I think they're sort of overcosted, really. Yeah, because I think like you're paying points for a plasma rifle, and then you're paying more points to make it a special plasma rifle. And if you factor all that in, what you're getting, I don't think is worth the points. But next one, Thermo Neutronic Projector. 20 points for this one. Crisis or Commander. Replaces the Flamer. Range 12, assault, d6 +2, strength 4, -2 to damage, that's quite tasty. And then the Projector in melee is strength 4, -2 to damage. And then each time the bearer fights, it makes d6 +2 additional attacks with this weapon. That's nice. Okay, so that one's actually really good. Fascinating, that one. Dominator Fragmentation Launcher. 25 points for this one, or 2 power level. Commander of Crisis. It replaces the air bursting fragmentation projector. You get assault d6, range 24, strength 5, -2, 1 damage. The blast, this weapon can target units not visible to the bearer, and each time the bearer shoots this weapon, if any hits are scored, then it's -4 leadership. Trying to kill stuff through bad morale. Strange one, that one. And then internal grenade racks. That will cost you 15 points or 2 power level. Once per turn, after this model is moved in your movement phase, you can select one unit moved across, roll d6, on 2+, it's d3 mortal wounds. So how many times you can do that again? Once or twice? If it's worth the points. And then Resonator Warheads. 30 points for this one, and 2 power level. Commander Crisis Battle Suit. Changing your missile pod out to get. Range 30, assault 3, strength 8, -2, 2 damage. Each time the bearer shoots with this weapon, any hits scored against infantry or beast or cavalry, you can halve the movement characteristic on models in that unit. Okay, so yeah, it could be useful. Bundle of cavalry, slow them down. The EH Disruption Suit. 30 points for this one. Ouch. The Ghost Kill. So once per battle in your command phase, the bearer can use this prototype system. If it does, to the next command phase it gains the following ability. So it's an aura ability. While an enemy unit is within 12 of this model, each time your opponent selects that unit for a stratagem, and each time your opponent uses a stratagem when that unit is selected to shoot or fights, increases CP by 1. Note that the stratagem cost is only increased by 1 for the use of the stratagem. Any future usages of it cost the normal CPs. Yeah, strange. Yeah, I don't know. Can't see much point to that one either. And then Stim Injectors. So my honest opinion would be I would scrap these pages and wouldn't bother with them, just to keep things simplified. Or if you're going to do prototype systems, just do prototype weapons maybe. Have a few weapons that you can swap out. But because all these kind of abilities, for like things you can do, like grenade packs and sensory negation, they can all be stratagems. They can all be stratagems or Warlord Traits or Relics. So, but anyway, Stim Injectors. This one will cost you 10 points. So this is one of the cheaper ones. This is the cheapest one. One power level. Crisis or Commander. Once a battle when your saving throw has failed for the bearer can use this prototype system. If it does, at the end of the turn, each time the bearer would lose a wound. As a result, roll a d6 and a 4+ the wound is not lost. Well, that is excellent. And the strangest thing, the cheapest one, is one of my favourites. Very, very useful indeed. A 4+ feel no pain as soon as you start taking damage. Till the end of the turn. Yeah, Stim Injectors. Very, very useful indeed. Nice and cheap as well for 10 points. Well worth the upgrade, I think, on a Commander. Wide Spectrum Scanners. Model equipped with an early warning override. This will cost 20 points or 1 power level. At the end of the reinforcement step of your opponent's movement phase, if the bearer is not within engagement range of any enemy units, it can shoot as if it were the shooting phase, but it can only target a single eligible enemy unit that was set up as reinforcements this turn and is within 12 inches of the bearer. Okay, that's that done. We've gone to Warlord Traits next here. So some people are saying, oh, they wish the Kroot got their own book, but there's never enough depth for the Kroot to get their own book. No way, but it looks like Games Workshop giving them a little bit more depth or options with them. There's 3 Kroot Warlord Traits across there. Okay, interesting. So you've got your standard 6. There's some fixed Warlord Traits depending on who you're taking. So Precision of the Hunter. Each time this Warlord makes an attack, you can reroll the hit roll and you can reroll the wound roll. Okay, auto take. Wait. Each time this Warlord makes an attack, so it's melee or shooting, you can reroll the hit roll and the wound roll. That's utterly ridiculous. Struck gold here on the first one. Well, that's the one I'm taking. That's Drazar as a battle suit. Unbelievable. Right, okay, so very, very powerful Warlord trait. Some of the Warlord traits out there are ridiculously just, they're like piddly, there's nothing to them, but this is game killer. Unbelievable. You know, if your fusion blasters on the Warlord, on the Crisis battle suit, for example, on the Commander, reroll on hits and wounds, so powerful. Next, for Unity, Devastation. So I think either of my commanders, my short range aggressive guy or the one at the back, could take that. No problem at all. So for Unity, Devastation or ability, whilst a friendly accept a core unit within 6 inches of this Warlord, each time a core model in that unit makes a ranged attack and a modified wound roll of 6, improve the AP by 1. It's going to take a big stretch to beat Precision of the Hunter, I think. A Ghost Walks Among Us. This is the one I went for before. Each time an attack is made against this Warlord, subtract 1 from the attack's hit roll. Each time this Warlord advances, do not make an advance move. It's a guaranteed 6 inches. So it's still okay, but I'm liking that one. And then through Boldness Victory, in your command phase, select one friendly Sept core unit within 9 inches. They should have made that reroll ones, I think. Reroll ones to wound and hit. Still would have been a very, very popular choice, but straight rerolls is ridiculous. Through Boldness Victory, in your command phase, select one friendly Sept core unit within 9 inches of this Warlord until the start of the next command phase. Each time a core model in that unit makes a ranged attack, a modified wound roll or hit roll of a 6 automatically wounds. So that's okay. And then Exemplar of the Kuyan. After both players have deployed their armies and determined who has the first turn, select up to 1 friendly Sept unit, or up to 3 friendly Sept units if you selected the KOYO tactical philosophy this battle, and redeploy them. If this mission uses the strategic reserves rules, any of those units can be placed into strategic reserves without having to spend additional CPs, regardless of how many units are already in strategic reserves. If both players have abilities that redeploy units roll off, the winner chooses who redeploys the units first. So relocate. An Exemplar of the Monk Car. In your command phase, select one friendly core unit within 9 inches until the start of the next command phase. Each time a core model in that unit makes a ranged attack that targets an unit within 9 or 12 If you selected the one card Tactical Philosophy of this battle, you can re-roll the wound roll. So just stackable little bits, just annoying. I find those kind of things annoying because it's all like loads of parameters. The straightforward stuff I like the best, such as Precision of the Hunter. Easily remembered, and you can just use it throughout the game. So Recruit Warlord Traits. So Master of the Hunt. While a friendly recruit unit is within 6 inches of this warlord, each time model on that unit makes a ranged attack that targets a unit within 12. The target does not receive the benefits of cover against that attack. Pack leader or ability, while a friendly recruit unit is within 6 inches of this warlord, each time you make a charge roll for that unit, you can roll an additional d6 and discard one of the dice. So yeah, helpful enough. And then Nomadic Hunter. Whilst a friendly recruit unit is within 6 inches of this warlord, each time model on that unit makes a ranged attack. If that unit did not fall back this turn, it counts as having remained stationary. So no minus to the hit rolls. Just there. So they're okay. Next, on to Relics next. This is the... I guess it's done it with the Orcs. You know, the Orcs got their upgrades at the garage type thing. The tower, get it with prototype systems, and then they got Relics. But I honestly would have done away with one of those. Warlord Trait and Relics. Yep, and what they could have done was it's just another page of Relics. This is why. Why not just pick the best ones and just make those Relics. Get rid of prototype systems, because just more stuff to keep stacking up. So you know, Warlord Traits, Relics, keep it nice and simple. Don't need the extra stuff, but that's what they've done. Relics then. So the Pure-Tide Engram Neurochip is the first one. So whilst the bearer is on the battlefield, each time you spend a command point to use a Tau Empire battle tactic or Tau Empire epic deed stratagem, roll 1d6 and a 3+, command point is refunded. Okay, so refunding stratagems, it's powerful as well, 3+ to do it. The Onager, or the Onager Gauntlet, Crisis, oh sorry, it's a battle suit model only. So it's a melee weapon. Strength 12, -4, 3 damage. Now if I remember rightly, they give commanders a pretty good weapon skill. Yeah, they do. You get 4 attacks with a commander, whichever way you want to go, enforcer or usual, but 4 attacks, but his weapon skill 3+. There's no minus to the hit rolls with the Onager Gauntlet, so there is a bit of a punch that you could pack in close combat with him. Pretty good. Multi-sensory disengagement or discouragement array. At the end of the movement phase, select one enemy unit within 12 inches of the bear and roll 3d6. If the result is greater than the enemy's leadership characteristic, select one of the results below to take effect until the start of the next movement phase. The selected unit loses the objective secured. Clever. Halve the move characteristic models in that unit, and halve charge rolls. Or each time model in that unit makes a ranged attack, it can only target the closest eligible target. So flexible, useful. And there it is, that's the discouragement array. It's a huge lump of machinery. You'd have to, I don't know, you'd have to have a go at building it out of something. It's huge. But if you get really thematic, if you're into the modelling and so on, you really could build that, because that's how it looks. So there's your blueprint for putting it together, and you can have it float around with your commander. The discouragement array. Solid image projection unit. Oh, they've built them all. Or some of them. There's the Onager there. Right, so this is useful. It means if you are going to try and build your own, you can do it. You can follow generally what they've built here. Yeah, Onager Gauntlet, Pure-Tide Engram Neurochip, the multi-sense for discouragement array, the solid image projection, that's this one here, which we're going to look at now. The neuroempathic nullifier. And what's very cool is customizing your own drones and having them on the battlefield, and the opponent saying, yeah, what on earth is that particular drone? Very cool. Once per turn then with the projector, the first time a saving throw is failed for the bearer, the damage characteristic of that attack is changed to 0, and the bearer has a 4+ invuln save on top of that as well, which will save you points on getting a shield generator. You take the relic instead, you get your 4+ invuln save, cool little drone, and then you also once per turn the damage is changed to 0. And it's not once per game move, so every turn you're going to get that. Excellent little upgrade. Yep, I like that. Mightily tempted you can build that little drone, have it hang around your commander. Very, very cool indeed. So some real good stuff. Advanced M Scrambler. Enemy units that are set up on the battlefield as reinforcements cannot set up within 12 inches of the bearer. Very, very useful. In your command phase, select one enemy unit within 6 inches of the bearer. To the start of your next command phase, that unit cannot be affected by the aura abilities, excluding those that are psychic powers from other units from your opponent's army. Next is the Borfrod Gland. Recruit model only. Once per battle in your command phase, the bearer can use this relic. If it does, until the start of your next command phase, the bearer gains the following ability. So it's an alien gland's aura. Whilst a friendly recruit unit is within 6 inches of this model, +1 to the attacks characteristic and +1 to the strength characteristic of models in that unit. Yes. Once per battle. It's an aura ability. Yeah, fine, great, no problem. Orthu's Lantern. Model equipped with Markerlight model only. Each time this model performs a Markerlight action, roll 5 additional d6s. Each of which causes the enemy unit to gain 1 additional Markerlight token. That's ridiculous. Ridiculously good. How useful is that? So useful. God. You're saving yourself like buying a whole unit. Each time this model performs Markerlight action, roll 5 d6 instead of 1. Well, I'll be seriously considering that one. Markerlights, as you'll see, Markerlights are important just to push up the ballistic skill. Excellent, excellent result with that. Or option with that one. Powerful relics here for the tout. Humble Stave, Ethereal. In your command phase, if the bearer is on the battlefield, you can intone 1 additional invocation it knows from the invocation of the Ethereals that has not already been intoned by a friendly model that turn. And each time the bearer intones an invocation, have 1 to the roll to see if it's inspiring. So that's very useful. If you're into Ethereals, then that's an excellent one to take. The Humble Stave. There's not much humble about the tower. Kindled Blade. Cadre Fireblade model. Once per battle in your command phase, the bearer can use this relic. If it does, until the start of the next command phase, it gains the following ability. So it's Bonding Ritual. While a friendly set Fire Warrior team is within 6 inches, it's auto pass morale. Very specific to them. Empathic Nullifier, which is that one. Ethereal model. Once per battle. I'm still loving the idea of building your own specific drones and calling them relics. Very cool. Very, very cool idea. Ethereal model only, once per battle. You can go as extravagant, but you can go as extravagant as you want, because then they're no impact on the game. They just don't exist for rules purposes. So you can just build them however you want. And that just gives you a license just to build whatever you get. Because there's loads of, tower players are going to have loads of spare bits. So this is excellent here. Really liking the relic section. Where are we now? Ethereal model. Once per battle. In your command phase, the bearer can use this relic. If it does, select 1 enemy unit within 18 and visible to the bearer. Roll d6 on 2+ to the start of the next command phase. The target cannot perform actions. If the unit is currently performing an action, it immediately fails. Okay, well, useful. And then the Bagel Hunter's Plate. It says Beagle. Beagle. B-gel. The B-E-G-E-L. So I'm going to call it the Bagel's Hunter's Plate. Add 1 to armor saving throws for the bearer. Each time the bearer would lose a wound, roll a d6 and a 5+ wound is not lost. Well, that's excellent. That's very, very good. And then the Bakachakata, the Kachaktar model equipped with the Shape Recruit Rifle. So it's a replacement for that. Range 24, rapid fire 2, strength 5, -2, 2 damage. Each time you select a target for this weapon, you can ignore the lookout sir or it's a proper sniper rifle. Each time an attack is made with this weapon, unmodified wound roll of 6 inflicts some mortal wounds. It's not bad at all. If you're really going for a recruit heavy army, then there's some nice, just little snippets Games Workshop are giving you here in the form of relics, warlord traits, stratagems. So then you've got Ethereals. They have abilities that they can take. And even to simplify your game, don't take Ethereals, not worry about all this. Another tip for keeping things simple. Yeah, what I'm thinking at the moment is just taking the Stim Injector on a commander. Nice simple upgrade for him, nice and easy, and that's it for prototype. And then taking Warlord Traits and Relics, probably paying CP to take extra Warlord Traits and Relics, nice and straightforward. Because what's the point in taking intricate, clever little upgrades that you're just going to forget in a game half the time anyway? I've just got nice straightforward stuff so you've got it with you, nice powerful upgrades, is the way I do it. So let's see if I'm persuaded to take Ethereals here for what these rules are here. We'll have a look. So Storm of Fire, number 1, Storm of Fire. This invocation is inspiring. Select one. Hang on a second. Before the battle, generate invocations of each Ethereal model from your army knows using the table below. You can either roll a d6 or you can select one. So you're actually choosing one. Previously, you were selecting each turn, so there's more. So there's more availability there, but now you're just picking one. So these must be, hopefully they're pretty good, because you're quite limited in what you can do. Storm of Fire. If this invocation is inspiring, select one friendly Tau core unit within 6 inches of the Ethereal. That unit can make range attacks without any action failing. So, because you're paying points for an Ethereal to do this power once per turn, so is that worth it? Sense of Stone. If this invocation is inspiring, select one friendly Tau core unit within 6 inches. Each time a core model in this unit would lose a wound, it's a 5+ feel no pain. But I mean, what are you going to play that on? Fire Warriors? We'll soon find out. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, you pay the points to the Ethereal, he's limited on what he can do, and then the blessing that he does do helps core units, like Fire Warriors. Why bother with that? It's very gunliney type stuff here. You know, you've got your units nearby, and I'm just looking to see. So you got Crisis Battlesuits are core, so you could bless them. 5+ feel no pain on a unit of Crisis Battlesuits is good. Sorry, just going to check one more thing, just to see if it's worth. I'm wondering if broadsides are core, because you've got an Ethereal hanging around with them to give them a bit of durability. So your Riptide's not core. Yes, broadside battlesuits are core, so an Ethereal hanging around with them to give them 5+ feel no pain. Something like that would be pretty good. So yes, he'd be useful enough with that one. Sense of Stone. Yeah, and yeah, the bigger the unit he blesses, the better for value. But you know, you've paid out for a 250 point unit, and you're putting on a feel no pain of 5+. He's going to get his points back. Yeah. Zephyr's Grace. If this invocation is inspiring, select one friendly Tau core unit within 6 inches again of the Ethereal. Each time a range attack is made against that unit, if it did not remain stationary in previous movement phase, subtract 1 for the attack's hit roll. So yes, okay. And then Power of Tides. If this invocation is inspiring, select one friendly Tau auxiliary unit within 6 inches of the Ethereal. Each time model that unit makes an attack, it's +1 to the wound roll. Pretty good. And then Unifying Mantra. If this invocation is inspiring, then while a friendly Tau core unit is within 6 inches of the Ethereal, you can reroll morale tests. And then +1 to combat attrition. Yeah, no, bother with that one. And then if this invocation is inspiring, you gain a command point. Wisdom of the Guide. So just harvesting a command point every turn. So just one more little thing, just flick forwards just to see the cost of an Ethereal. Nice and straightforward. An Ethereal will cost you 60 points. Yep, 60 points. Probably worth it if you put him in the right spot at the right time. Then he'd be worth his points. Fine. Yeah, okay, so still viable for sure. So on to chapter approved. So you're picking your secondaries. So I'll go here. We'll do these ones. This is the older, but much of them will be the same for the new Necmond Grand Tournament. So, but we'll run 2021 here. Just to, by way of comparison, things will change a little bit with the new Warzone Necmond Grand Tournament book for secondaries. But Shadow Operations then. So for shadow operations, you're competing with Raise the Banners, High Investigate Signal, Retrieve Octarius data, which will change to retrieve NAC1 data, I believe, and then deploy teleport homers. So aerospace targeting relays. Here's one of the secondaries you could choose. So if you select this objective, place an aerospace designation marker halfway along each battlefield edge. Units from your army can perform the following action. So install targeting relay action. One or more infantry units from your army can start to perform this action at the end of movement phase. Each unit from your army that starts to perform this action must be within 6 inches of a different aerospace designation marker that's not been had a targeting relay installed at it. The action is completed at the start of your next command phase or at the end of the battle, whichever comes first. If this action is successfully completed, the aerospace designation marker is said to have had a targeting relay installed on it. So at the end of the battle, you score a number of victory points based on how many targeting relays were installed. So if you install So I'm just looking, there must be 4 of them. So if you select this objective, place an aerospace designation marker halfway along each battlefield edge. Right, so your battlefield is your rectangle. You're going to, I'm right here, deploying one halfway along your own home line, like the backfield line for yourself, one for the opponent on the other side, and then one on either side on each flank, halfway up. So it's not the 4 corners, it's the 4 middles, if you know what I mean. So you've got to, you'll get your home one, should do easily. Then you've got to go for both your flanks to the extreme edge, and then, if possible, to get the max, you've got to go for the opponent's back line as well. So if you install 1, which is very easy, it's going to get 2. If you do get 2 during the game, it's worth 6. If you get 3, it's worth 9, and then if you get all 4, then it's worth 15. So yeah, it's just a different way of running ROD. Battlefield Supremacy next. So engage in all fronts, behind enemy lines, and stranglehold. So decisive action. So if you selected this Monte Carlo tactical philosophy at the start of the battle, then at the end of your turn in battlefields 1, 2, and 3, score 4 victory points if you control half or more of the total number of objective markers on the battlefield. If you selected the KOYO tactical philosophy at the start of the battle, at the end of your turn in battle rounds 3, 4, and 5, score 4 victory points if you control half or more of the total number of objectives. Bit of pressure, but it's good enough points values for that if you're able to do it. And then finally, no mercy, no respite. So no mercy, no respite is no prisoners, grind them down, and to the last. A clean victory. If you selected the Monte Carlo tactical philosophy at the start of the battle, at the end of the battle rounds 1, 2, and 3, you can score each of the following. Score 1 victory point if 1 or more enemy units were destroyed, 3 victory points if 3 or more enemy units were destroyed at that battle round. You can score each. Right, so you get a point for each kill. If you get 3, you get a bonus for 3, so that's 6. Nice. Yeah, not bad at all. If you selected the KOYO tactical philosophy at the start of the battle and at the end battle rounds 3, 4, and 5, you can score each of the following. 1 victory point if 1 or more enemy units were destroyed. So it's just the other way around for that one. So that was it's nice informatic actually. I'd be tempted to go for that one there. Certainly give it a try. It may prove to be quite useful. So that's chapter approved. You don't have to choose from there, but you can select one of those, I believe, instead of one of the standard secondaries from the book. So then a Crusade, so I usually skip through this, don't run Crusade, but there's more in-depth stuff there if you want to go for thematic stuff. And then there'll be some more rules, and then we'll get stuck into the units where there are some significant changes for profiles and weaponry and so on. So on to data sheets is the next section here. And this Philosophies of War, this Monte Carlo and KOYO is what we'll be covering as well. So a few extra rules, and then we'll get stuck into the units themselves. So on to data sheets then, some rules to cover here first of all. So sept keywords is the usual stuff, making sure your sept keywords all match up and so on. So we'll go on to Philosophies of War, the Monte Carlo and KOYO. So this has changed obviously since the previous codex, so works in a different way now. If every unit from your army, excluding Tower Auxiliary, Supreme Command and unaligned units, is from the same sept, then at the start of the battle, when you've determined who has the first turn, so this is declared once you know who's going first, you can select one of the tactical philosophies below. So hopefully this is nice and straightforward. You've got two options. You can go Montcar or KOYO and that's it. And then you just use that for the rest of the game. Tau Empire units, excluding Tau auxiliary units from your army, gain the benefits of the tactical philosophy. If both players have a similar ability, the player who has the first turn chooses first. So, Montcar then. So in battle rounds 1 to 3, each time this unit makes a normal move or advances in your movement phase until the end of the shooting phase, it counts as having remained stationary. So very, very useful, quite straightforward. Each time model in that unit makes a ranged attack that targets the closest eligible enemy unit with the range shown on the table below, improve the arm penetration characteristic of that attack by 1, and reroll wound rolls of 1. So a little bit technical, a few little bits to remember that could easily be forgotten, but I'm sure players will soon pick it up at what they can do. Battle round 1 is range 18, then range 12, then range 9 on turn 3. A bit of extra AP -1. So it's supporting you if you're going to go aggressive Tau, aggressive firepower, close range and so on, and you're getting a bonus by going for Montcar. So it's either or you can go KOYO, so that's battle rounds 3 to 5, which to be honest, I don't know, games are pretty much decided or over by then, that we're seeing at the moment. But anyway, turns 3 to 5. This unit is eligible to shoot in a turn in which it fell back, but if it does, then until the end of the turn, each time a model in that unit makes a ranged attack, subtract 1 from the hit roll, so fall back and shoot at -1. And each time a model in that unit makes a ranged attack that targets the closest eligible enemy unit within 12, if that model is not within engagement range of any enemy units, did not fall back, an unmodified hit roll of the value shown on the table below of that attack scores 1 additional hit. Interesting. So ability to score extra hits, but you know, the really good bonus there of 4+, it's on the last turn of the game, and really a lot of games we're playing turn 2, turn 3, you're really looking at usually sort of knowing which way the game's going. But I don't know, I guess most people go Montcar on that one to get the early advantage, which always helps. You know, to try and get ahead of the opponent somehow, then Montcar I think will be the most popular. But that's the two options that you have, and you get a choice of which one to go for just as the game begins. So we'll go through these because this is some key stuff now for the Tau. Battle suits, there's some developments with these. Marker lights work differently as well, so this is a very important section actually. So the first bit here about battle suits, quite a significant development here. So battlesuit models in this unit can make attacks with ranged weapons even when the unit is in engagement range of enemy units. So you're in close combat, your battlesuits can fire. To be honest, as seen in a lot of the artwork, so as illustrated just here for example, but they can only make such attacks against enemy units that are within engagement range. In such circumstances, those models can target enemy units even if other friendly units are within engagement range of the same enemy unit. Note that if a battlesuit model has more than one ranged weapon, you can still choose to target units that are not within engagement range, just like the usual rules, but it will only be able to make the attacks with that weapon if all units within engagement range of its unit have been destroyed when you come to resolve those attacks. So, for example, you're equipped with some blast weapons which you can't fire into close combat. You declare those outside of the combat against some other unit. You've got to wipe out those that are engaged range with you, and that then frees you up to fire other targets. So just the usual rules pretty much for firing into close combat. So you're just becoming like vehicles really, which is an interesting move there. It's a bit more tactical flexibility than with the Crisis battlesuits. Because I've found in games they get tapped out and then it's just, what do you do? You pull out combat but you can't shoot or anything, so this is significant now for these. In addition, when a battlesuit model shoots a heavy weapon, subtract 1 from the hit rolls when resolving that weapon's attacks, whilst any enemy units within engagement range of that model's unit. So, -1 to hit rolls, but again, if you clear those units out of the way and you've declared other heavy weapons somewhere else, and there's no longer in engagement range, then that -1 isn't going to affect you, so you can fire at normal ballistic skill. So, very significant that one for battlesuits. Suits me just fine. I want to use more battlesuits, or a diversity of battlesuits in the new list. So, excellent news. Marker lights then. Fire marker lights action. One or more marker light units from your army can start to perform this action at the start of the movement phase. So, declaring marker lights action or fire marker lights action. Start your movement phase. Aircraft marker light units can perform this action. As the action is complete at the start of your next shooting phase, you declare it in the movement phase, and then it's completed in the shooting phase. If this action is successfully completed, for each model in that unit that is equipped with one or more marker lights, for each marker light that model is equipped with, select one enemy unit within 36 of that model who have been eligible target for that model. If its unit had been selected to shoot, and roll 1d6 on a 3+, that enemy unit gains one marker light token. So, well, to be honest, straightforward enough. Declare your action. In the end of the movement phase, happens, it activates, or you can then use it in the shooting phase, and it's a threes for a hit within range 36. So I can't see a problem with that. While a vehicle or drone unit is performing the fire marker light's action, that unit can move without that action failing. If it does until the end of the turn, models in that unit without the vehicle or drone keyword that are equipped with any marker lights treated as not being equipped with any marker lights for the purposes of fire marker light action. Each time a Tower Empire unit, excluding Tower Auxiliary units, is selected to shoot, so this is the benefit now. Each time a model in that unit makes a ranged attack against a unit of one or more marker light tokens, add 1 to that attack's hit roll, so +1 to hit rolls, again nice and straightforward. And after that unit has finished making attacks, for each enemy unit targeted by those attacks, remove 1 marker light token from the enemy unit. So you marker light up a target, you put 1 marker light on them for example, you select a unit to fire at them, they get +1 to hit rolls. Once that's used up, you just remove the token from play. So it just seems fine, I can't see any problem here. At the end of the shooting phase, remove all marker light tokens from enemy units, so it doesn't roll on to anything like your opponent's turn or Overwatch or anything like that. You just use them up in your shooting phase and that's it, they're gone. So I think this, I can't see a problem. It just feels realistic the way it'll work. You know, there's a little bit of setting up to do, getting marker lights lined up, but the rules here nice and straightforward. It's just +1 to hit rolls, you're just guiding in your shots. I want to make use of marker lights somehow, or see what units can help out with that, because +1 to the hit rolls for Tower is big, very, very useful indeed. Manta Strike. So during deployment, just a deep strike, more than enemy, staying away 9 inches, just over 9 inches away from enemy models, just a deep strike. Ambushing predators at the start of the first battle round, models in this unit can make a normal move up to 7. You can't enter move within 9 inches of enemy models, just an extra move at the start of the game. And then inspired to greatness. In your command phase, select 1 friendly Tower Empire core or Tower Auxiliary unit within 6 inches of this unit's ethereal model. To the start of your next command phase, whilst that unit is performing any action, it can make ranged attacks without that action failing. Okay, so further use for the ethereal. Okay, marker lights are tricky because they're like the eyes of your army, and the opponent, you know, if they're wise, they're going to try and blind you and take away marker lights as much as they can. Always found that with a tower, whichever codex comes out, the opponent will pick on marker light units. So trying to think of ways of burying those marker lights or hiding them, or thinking of ways of getting around that, but we'll come to that as we come to the units. So we're coming to units now. So I'm not going to go through every stat line. I'll give you a spread of some of the points as well, and then I'm just going to sort of skim through some, just try and keep this moving here. But there are changes, and weapons have been changed and are more powerful and so on, so there'll be a fair bit to cover. We're going to take a look at the units now, and you know, it's a tactical review, so I'm thinking of units. I've got many of the units here, not all of them, but many of the units for the tower, and so I'm thinking of what units I'm going to drop, what units I'm going to add in, really shake stuff up and get a fresh tower army. So we'll have a look at what we've got here. So the first thing to point out with drones is movement 10. They seem to have shifted up from movement 8 to movement 10. Battlesuits have gone the same direction. It's a bit quicker now with battlesuits, which is a nice bonus for them. Just running the usual toughness 4. There's 2 wounds on the shield drone and interesting. That's the shield drone and shielded missile drone have 2 wounds each. Keeping the 4 up save as per usual. All weapon skill and ballistic skill of 5+, yeah. Yeah, we'll just check these. So you've got Manta Strike available with these, and then you've got Valued Sacrifice. Each time a drone model in this unit is destroyed, it is ignored for the purposes of morale tests if this unit also contains models with the drone keywords. The Games Workshop, they've listened to feedback. People were saying there was an issue with a can't remember if it was the past Codex or the one before, where you kill a drone and it affects the models from around. You'd have things like characters fleeing and so on, but they fixed that. Artificial helpers. Drone models are ignored for the purposes of lookout, sir. Okay, determine this unit's starting strength, whether they're below half strength, and determine the unit's toughness characteristic. If it also contains models without the drone keyword. So, what does that mean? Look, the lookout, so drone models are ignored for the purposes of lookout, sir rule. So, does that mean that drones can be targeted but the character can't? Or drones, if they're attached to a character, they can't be targeted because they're part of the character unit, but they don't have the character keyword. So it may be the case you can shoot the drones but not the character. I'm not sure what that means entirely. And then limited parameters. If this unit contains any drone models, this unit can perform actions excluding the fire marker lights action. It loses the objective secured ability if it has it, and cannot gain it through any means. Docked drone. Any weapons this model is equipped with are considered to be equipped to the model it is docked with instead. Attacks cannot be allocated to this model, and it does not count as a model on the battlefield for any rules purposes. They're like drones on a Devilfish, for example. If the model is docked if the model is destroyed, this drone model is destroyed also. And then drones have the keywords drone and fly. Drone models do not gain the keywords of any units that contain them, excluding tactical drones. And then for the purposes of interacting with terrain features, drone models count as having the infantry keyword. So just run through these abilities on here. So the advanced guardian drone, I think that's for, yeah, this is for Shadow Sun. So you've got the shield generator, 4+ info save. This model cannot be selected as a target for ranged attacks unless it's the closest eligible target to the firing model. So that counteracts that rule across there. And the command link drone, add 3 inches to the range of this unit's aura abilities to a maximum of 12 each time model this unit uses an ability in your command phase. Excluding aura abilities, add 3 inches to the range of that. The grav inhibitor drone, subtract 2 for charge rolls made for any unit that declares a charge against this unit. And the guardian drone, the Guardian Shield Generator, 4+ info save. Each time range attack is made against this unit, unmodified wound roll of 1 to 2 always fails, irrespective of any abilities that the weapon or the model making attack may have. And the regular gun drone, which is 2 pulse carbines. That's your usual ranged one. No, it's not usual. Range 24 for the pulse carbines here. Assault 2, strength 5, AP 0, 1 damage. And then it's the same rule as before, threat identification protocol should target the nearest enemy eligible unit. So they've increased the range of the pulse carbine, on the drones at least. There's more drones across it. Always just love the drones to the tower, brilliant concept. Interceptor drone, so 2 ion rifles. So we're going to see one of the weapons here. So the ion rifle now, the standard is range 30, heavy 3, strength 7, -2, 1 damage. And if you go overcharge, it's heavy 3, range 30, strength 8, -2, 2 damage. Remember, that's going to be 6 shots coming from this drone. Any unmodified hit rolls of 1, it's a mortal wound on the bearer. The marker light drone, or marker drone, again the marker light keyword. Missile drone, range 30. I think they used to range 36 on the missile pods. Could be wrong. But range 30 anyway now. Assault 2, strength 7, -2, 2 damage. The pulse accelerator drone. Each time model in this unit makes an attack with a pulsed weapon, improve the AP of that attack by 1. Well, that's nice. Pretty good. The recon drone. So you already start getting some decent AP minus coming through with pulse weapons now. Start stacking stuff up. Pulse accelerator drone useful. Yeah. The recon drone is the burst cannons, range 18, assault 6, strength 5, -0 and 1 damage. And the Recon Sweep, each time a model in this unit makes a ranged attack, a unit within 18, the target does not receive the benefits of light cover. Okay. So you've got your regular shield drone, which is a 4+ info save. The shielded missile drone, you just get the 4+ info save and the missiles. This is a combination of 2 drones really. The sniper drone, range 48, brilliant range, rapid fire 1, strength 5. They put some AP minus on this now, it's AP -2 and 1 damage. And the stealth drone. So this unit cannot be selected as target for ranged attacks unless it's the closest eligible unit of the firing model to the firing model, or the firing model is within range 18, so they lose that ability if they get within range 18. Okay, so it means you can't pick up the drones independently, I guess. Okay, so that's your drones, which are obviously spread throughout the codex here, been given to different models. So we'll go through some of the characters now. So Commander Shadow Sun first. So I have Shadow Sun all painted up. She is Tau Sept, so I'd like to use Shadow Sun. She could lead the assault, the more aggressive part of the, yeah, well, we'll see. Just never quite done too well in games, but there's a chance, always a chance, fresh chance of a fresh codex. Shadow Sun, it's 150 points, so it's not cheap really, but not too expensive. 150 points is high enough. I think that's all in, you can just get everything, including all the drones. It's movement 10, ballistic skill 2+, weapon skill 3+, strength 5, toughness 5, 7 wounds, so a nice lot of wounds now, 4 attacks, leadership 10, 3 up, save. So, Flechette Launcher, 2 high energy fusion blasters, a light missile pod, pulse pistol, advanced guardian drone, command link drone. Okay, so dispersed fusion blaster. No, she's taking the high energy and you can swap it out for the 2 dispersed fusion blasters. Yeah. You can go one of each, I think. Commander Shadow Sun's 2 high energy fusion blasters can be replaced with one of the following: 1 high energy fusion blaster, 1 dispersed fusion blaster, or 2 dispersed. Yes, you can go one of each if you want. So if you go for high energy, it's range 24. It's a brilliant range. Assault 1. Strength 8 -4, d6 damage. If you get within half range, which is range 12, it's d6 +2. It's not bad, not bad. And the dispersed version is range 18, assault 2, so you get 4 shots in total, strength 7 -4, 2 damage. If you're within half range, which would be range 9, then it's damage 3. The Flechette Launcher, which is range 18, assault 5, strength 3, -0, 1 damage. There's nothing much to that. The light missile pod is range 24, assault 2, strength 7, -2, 2 damage, and pulse pistol as well. It just doesn't strike me as a killer. It just doesn't have that killing edge. I'd rather go the quadruple or triple fusion blaster on one of the commanders, and start customizing, adding on Warlord Traits, Relics, and so on. Just I think is a bit more superior above Commander Shadow Sun here, but we'll see what else she's got. So Defender of the Greater Good. In your command phase, select one Tau Empire core or character unit within 6. It could be a big unit of battlesuits that she's with. To the start of the next command phase, each time a core or character model that unit makes an attack, you can reroll the hit roll. Yeah, now that's pretty good. Camouflage fields, whilst this unit's Commander Shadow Sun model has any wounds remaining, each time a ranged attack is made against this unit, subtract 1 from the attack's hit roll. You're targeting the unit, yeah. So even against drones, just -1 across the board, and any range, excellent. And then 5+ in fun save. And they've got Master of War, so whilst a friendly Tau Empire core unit is within 6 inches of Commander Shadow Sun, again it could be a Crisis Battlesuit team, each time a core unit from that army makes an attack, reroll hit rolls of 1. So that's your aura ability. She could help out other units nearby, not just the one that's been blessed with Defender of the Greater Good. So she's useful. Yeah. Okay, and then she can infiltrate in during deployment as long as you're more than 9 inches away from enemy models, if you need to. And Hero of the Empire. If your army's battle forged, this Commander Shadow Sun model must be your army's warlord. If more than one model from your army has a rule to this effect, then one of those models must be your warlord. So if I do put her in the army, she's got to take command. Okay. We'll move on to Commander Farsight, who is 130 points. He's cheaper. So same movement, weapon score and ballistic skill 2+ for him. Strength 5, toughness 5, 7 wounds, 5 attacks, 3 up saves. A better profile than Shadow Sun. He's equipped with a high intensity plasma rifle and the Dawn Blade. So the high intensity plasma rifle, range 36, assault 2, strength 8, -4, 3 damage. So pulse rifles taking a nice upgrade. And then the Dawn Blade. So there's 2 options. You can strike, which is ×2 strength, so strength 10, -3 and 3 damage, hitting on 2s. It's deadly in combat. And then sweep, you can go for +1 strength, which will be strength 6, -2. You get 2 hit rolls, so it's going to be 10 attacks for that. So he's aggressive model here, or unit. So his battle suits, Manta Strike, Tactical Acumen. In your command phase you can select unfriendly Sept Crisis core unit within 9 inches of this unit's Crisis Battlesuit Commander model. At the end of the turn, that unit is eligible to shoot and declare a charge in turn in which it fell back. And each time a core unit makes a ranged attack, you can ignore any or all hit roll modifiers. Then Way of the Short Blade. At the start of the fight phase, you can select unfriendly Farsight Enclaves core unit within 6 inches. Till the end of the phase, each time a core model that unit makes an attack, add 1 to the attack's hit roll. Okay, helps out other units for close combat. And then Master of War. While a friendly Farsight Enclaves core unit is within 6 inches of this model, each time a core model in that unit makes an attack, reroll hit rolls of 1. Okay, and then Enclave Commander. If your army's battle forged, this model must be a Warlord. And then a 4+ invalid save with the big shield thing that he's carrying on the front. But generally, fine, seems alright. But your characters, your named characters, sort of fixed. It's not, apart from you can give them their fixed Warlord trait, but that's it. You can't stack up relics and so on. So it's more of an adventure, and you come up with some deadly combos, I reckon, for taking your regular commanders. But so I've got my commander Ghost Tide. We'll see if we can adapt him with the new Codex here, but we'll run through the commanders next. So this will speed up. There's more info here. Some of the other stuff won't be as detailed, but you've got your regular commander for you start him off at 90 points, and you start adding your upgrades on top. So you're starting off with a cheaper cost. This is a weapon skill of 3+, so keeping that, getting the movement 10, the 2-up ballistic skill, strength 5, toughness 5, 6 wounds on these, 4 attacks, 3-up save. So I'm going to run through these weapons. I'm just going to run through them once, but there's a good number of them here. So air bursting fragmentation projector, range 24, assault D6, strength 4, -1, 1 damage, blast weapon, and you can pick on stuff that you can't see. The burst cannon is range 18, assault 6, strength 5, -0, 1 damage. The cyclic iron blaster is range 18, assault 3, strength 7, -2, 1 damage, or you can go with overcharge, which is range 18, assault 3, strength 8, -2, 2 damage. So nice Primaris killer. Any ones is a mortal wound. And then you've got the fusion blaster, which is the same as before, and then within half range, which is range 9, is d6 + 2 damage. The missile pod, which you've seen already, the plasma rifle, that's seen an improvement. It used to be rapid fire 1, so you used to get 2 shots at half range. I think it was range 24. It's now range 30. Could be wrong, that could have been range 30 before, but it's now assault 1. So, which I think is a shame, you're losing a shot at half range, but you've gone up from strength 6 to strength 8. AP -3 to AP -4, and it's straight 3 damage. It's quite nasty against Plague Marines, for example. Damage 3 still becomes damage 2. The plasma rifle's pretty good, just the 1 shot though. And then the Tower Flamer is assault D6 + 2. Is that the way all flamers are going? I don't know, but you get +2 shots there. Strength 4, -0, 1 damage, and also hits. And then we've got some war gear here, which is going to apply to other units, so we won't have to go over it again, but we'll run through these now as well. So, counterfire defense system. The bearer gains the counterfire defense system keyword. Then early warning override. Each time the bearer fires Overwatch, it scores hits unmodified hit rolls of 5+ instead of 6s. Each time you use the fire Overwatch stratagem, if the bearer is on the battlefield and the unit is selected to fire Overwatch, reduce the CP cost by that stratagem by 1. Note the CP cost is only reduced by 1 for the use of the stratagem. Any future usages of it cost the normal amount of CPs. Okay, and the bearer has a save characteristic of 2+, if you go for Iridium Battlesuit. Okay. Well, yeah, you can take Iridium. to give yourself a 2-up armor save. And there's no minus to your movement, you'll still keep your movement. It's a heavier armor type, but it's not going to affect your movement at all. The multi-tracker, each time a ranged attack made by the bearer targets a unit with 6 more models. 6 is pop extra hits, maximum of 1 per model. Shield generator, 4+ invuln save. Target lock, each time the bearer makes a ranged attack, it strips light cover. And the velocity tracker is +1 to the hit rolls against units that can fly. So they're okay. I would say the most powerful stuff I've seen so far is Warlord Traits and Relics. That's where it's at. This you're having to pay points for, but there's some potent stuff in the Relics and War Gear section, but those are options that are available. So he comes with a burst cannon that in the commander in Crisis Battlesuit can be replaced up to 4 of the following in any combination. So it runs through all your weapons and your unit types or your war gear types here. The commander in Crisis, you can take Iridium, and the unit can be equipped with up to 2 of the following in any combination: a gun drone, a marker drone, and a shield drone. Right, so there's 6 slots there, 2 for drones, 4 for all of your weapons and war gear. Fantastic. So he does come with some built-in abilities as well. Master of War, so whilst friendly set core units in 6 inches, you can reroll hit rolls of 1, which is going to help out to some degree. He's got Tactical Acumen. So in the command phase, you select a Crisis core unit within 9, and they can fall back and shoot and charge. And each time a core model on this unit makes a ranged attack, you can ignore any and all hit roll modifiers. So there's some pretty good uses on him. Okay, now Enforcer Battlesuit, which I'd probably go for. You are paying an extra 20 points for this. So that will get you an extra wound, 7 wounds. It reduces your move down to 8, so back to the old move really. It boosts your armor save up to 2+. Don't need to go through all this. Yeah, now, oh, I see, how interesting. So they've limited you with your war gear. So here for the regular commander, he's got access to all of these ones we've covered, but for the Enforcer Battlesuit, all he's got access to is Positional Relay, which he can't take, the Shield Generator, which both can take, and the Velocity Tracker, which both can take, but he hasn't got access to Target Lock, Multi-Tracker and so on. Yeah, I think. Yeah. So it's quite specific as to what you can go for with him. So we'll do Positional Relay because that one hasn't been covered yet. So once per battle round, when you set up a friendly's reserves unit, the bearer can use this war gear item. If it does, the unit counts that battle round number as being 1 higher than the battle round number for the purpose of determining where it is set up. But when doing so, it must be set up within 6 inches of the bearer. It's not that significant. And the Velocity Tracker we've covered. It tells you the weapons that he's got access to. Fusion Blaster, yeah, you can get that one. And then Hardened Armour. This is what you're getting your 20 points here. Each time an attack is allocated to this unit's Enforcer Commander model, subtract 1 from the damage. Nice. Very good indeed. Then you've got Master of War, so your reroll hit rolls of 1. And then Resolute Firebase. In your command phase, you can select one Crisis core unit within 9 inches of this Enforcer Battlesuit Commander. And to the start of your next command phase, you gain objectives secured. That's useful enough. Tough choice then, which one to go for. You got your Commander and your Cold Star Battlesuit. 100 points for him. Still at 7 wounds. Still ballistic skill 2+, 14-inch moves, nice and quick. We've covered all these ones. No, there's a high output burst cannon, range 18, assault 10, strength 5 -1, nice. And then all of those we've got already. So he's got access to Positional Relay, Shield Generator, Target Lock, and Velocity Tracker. And then high altitude maneuvers. Once per battle at the start of your movement phase, you can remove this unit from the battlefield. If you do so, then it becomes reinforcements. So this unit back up more 9 inches away from enemy models. It's in the strategic reserves, yeah. You've got Master of War, rerolling 1s, and aggressive tactics. In your command phase, you can select one crisis core unit within 9 inches of the commander. At the end of the turn, each time the unit advances, do not make an advance roll. It's guaranteed 8 inches to their advance move. Okay, so he's got his uses as well. There's nice diversity there for the commanders. So the Cadre Fireblade, I dropped him out of the previous list to see if he's worth bringing back. So he may well be more potent now with Fire Warriors and the infantry having a bit more bite with their firepower. So he's got 4 wounds, ballistic skill 3+, it's not too much concern about the profile. His pulse rifle is better, it's range 36, rapid fire 1, strength 5 -2, 2 damage. He can take gun, shield or marker, gun, marker or shield drones, 2 of them. So volley fire, whilst a friendly Sept core unit is within 6 inches of the Cadre Fireblade model, each time a core unit makes an attack with a pulse weapon, 6 pop extra hits. And target sighted in your commander phase, select one Fire Warrior team within 9 inches of this unit's Cadre Fireblade model. To the start of the next command phase, you can reroll hit rolls of 1 for ranged attacks. So yeah, he's okay. Cadre Fireblade is he's cheap. He's 50 points. Cheap enough. I think it's worth it. Recruit Shaper, 4 wound model, 3 attacks. Weapon skill is 2+ with him. The Recruit Rifle is range 24, rapid fire 2, strength 4 -1 damage. The Ritual Blade is +1, strength 50 -1 damage. The Grenade Belt is grenade 2d6, strength 5 -1. 1 use only for the battle. It's a blast weapon. And they've got Ambush and Predators. Wisest of their kind. Any recruit unit within 6 inches, modern that unit can use their leadership. His leadership's 8. Shaper commands, aura. So for any units within 6 inches, it's reroll hit rolls of 1. That's kind of shooting or close combat, I believe. And the Stealthy Hunter, +1 to armor, saving throws, forbidding cover. So get a 4+. So the Ethereal sort of covered his powers and abilities already. Recruit Shaper is 25 points. Cheap. The Ethereal is 60 points. 4 wounds on him, 3 attacks. On a stave, the plastic one on the hoverboard, +2 strength, strength 5 -1, 2 damage. And it's -1 from the... It is -1 to the hit rolls, so he's actually hitting on 4s. So just forget about close combat with him. And then you can take drones. You can take a hover drone. So you got failure is not an option. They get his leadership, which is leadership 10, units within 6. That's core units. And then you can't take them for Farsight Enclaves. This model knows 2 invocations. I thought it was 1, but he knows 2, so that's pretty good. In your command phase, this model, when it's on the battlefield, it can invoke 1. It knows it's not already been intoned by a friendly model this turn. Roll on d6, so 3+. Oh, you do have to roll to inspire. Ooh, tricky, tricky. Right. Think about him. Anvar needs a resculpt. I think his Tau Sept, how interesting. So the profile for them, you've got 3 attacks on the Ethereal Guard. Their weapon is the Honor Blade, +2 strength, 8 -1, 2 damage. You've got Supreme Loyalty, friendly core unit within 9. You can use his leadership. Paradox of Duality, 5+ in save, and subtract 1 from the wound rolls. Leadership cast, this unit can include any talent. Let's talk about the structure. It knows it's just like a super ethereal, so 3 invocations, and it can invoke 2. Right. Interesting. 80 points all in for all the models and abilities and so on, which is pretty good price, really. And she, that sort of character, ethereal. 85 points for him. 5 attacks, 5 wounds, weapon skill 2+. 6 is pop additional hits for the Fidelity Blade, +2 strength, -2, 2 damage. He's got a 4+ invuln save for a shield generator. Leadership cast, same thing. Failure is not an option. Inspirational Defiance. This is Viola, core unit within 6 inches. Each time a unit declares a charge. that unit can hold steady or set to defend if you're not within engagement range. And those 3 can manifest 2, and it's 2s to make that go off. Should have pointed that out for Ambar as well. It's 2s to make that go off on him as well. So if you want a very reliable ethereal, then one of the characters might be an option. Okay. So the points for him is 85. So then you've got Dark Strider, this resculpt that Games Workshop have done. Beautiful model, very nice. And Dark Strider will be 60 points, nice and cheap. So 5 wounds with him, ballistic skill 2+, the Shade, his shooting weapon is range 24 assault, 2 strength, 5 -2, 2 damage. He has Marker Light. So Structural Analyzer. In your command phase you can select one friendly Tau Sept core unit within 6 inches of this model, and one enemy unit visible to this model. At the end of that turn, each time a model on the Tau Sept core unit makes a ranged attack, it's +1 to wound rolls. That's very helpful. Very helpful. Okay, and then target upload. This unit can start the fire marker lights action at the end of movement phase instead of at the start. Okay, and the drone familiar cluster. Each time this model is selected to shoot, you can reroll 1 hit roll, and you can reroll 1 wound roll, resolving this model's attack. And fighting retreat. On a friendly Tau Sept core unit, excluding battlesuits within 6 inches, it's eligible to shoot and turn in which it fell back. A lot of rules coming in to help out the Tau, find themselves in close proximity to the enemy here. And then Vanguard. So you get a normal move of 7 inches before the game kicks off. So yeah, it's helpful enough. Oh, here we go. Long strike. So, I've noticed something immediately here. Extra wounds. They're already on 13 wounds, but now on 14 wounds. Now for the Hammerhead gunship. Starting off on ballistic skill 3+. Movement 12 on these as per usual, 3-up save. So the iron cannon then, I'll stick with the railgun, but the iron cannon will give you 3d3 shots at range 60, strength 7 -2, 2 damage. If you go for overcharge, it's 3d3, so between 3 and 9 shots. Same range, strength 8 -2 and 3 damage. So it's good. And then blast, each time an unmodified hit roll of 1 is made for an attack with this weapon, it's a mortal wound. So onto the railgun, which has been a point of controversy for sure. But if you think of Extra Militarum tanks, they get tons of shots, whereas Long Strike or the Hammerheads, they're getting 1 shot, and so it should be potent. I agree with what Games Workshop have done. A bit biased, I guess, but it should be a one-shot weapon that's to be feared, and that's exactly what Games Workshop have done. So they've done that correct, perhaps a little bit overboard here. Range 72, heavy 1, strength 14, which is fantastic, AP -6, but that should have really just have been AP -5, but never mind. And then damage of D3 +6. Now, each time attack is made with this weapon, invuln saves cannot be made against that attack. And each time a successful wound roll is made for an attack with this weapon, the target suffers 3 mortal wounds in addition to any other damage. So, I'm trying not to be biased, thinking, because one of the big gripes has been stripping away the invuln save. But I don't know. I'll move on. But it's a deadly weapon to be feared for sure. But it's just one-shot weapon, so there's pressure on the tail play to get that hit and to get that wound. So anything to help that, anything to give you +1 to hit rolls, or re-rolling ones, any kind of re-roll ability just to help get that shot come through. Because if you miss or you fail to wound, it's just 0. There's nothing to it. So yes, it is scary, the profile, but it's relying on this single shot, which is correct. That's the way the Hammerhead works. It's this one-shot, one-kill type weapon. Seeker missiles have improved. They're heavy 1, strength 9, AP -3 and 2d3 damage. 1 use only. from what I can see, they just fire normally. Correct me if I'm wrong. I can't see any. I could have missed the point on that one, but it used to be like 6 to hit, then you needed marker lights, but seem to have scrapped that. So you just can fire a normal ballistic skill. The smart missile system, heavy 4, strength 5. What they've done is given you a bit of AP minus on that. AP minus 1. Strip away light cover, and not can target units that aren't visible to the bearers. It's pretty much the same as it was, just a little bit of extra AP minus 1, which is useful. And the accelerator burst cannon. Right, so they've actually got a burst cannon that's unique, it looks like, to the Hammerhead. Yeah, range 18, assault 8, so you got 2 of those, 16 shots, strength 8, sorry, strength 6, minus 1 damage, brilliant. So you can take 2 seeker missiles, which is fine. You can take gun drones, or accelerator burst cannons, or smart missile systems. You got the drone dock, the gunship ace. Right, so the special rules for him, I think I'm going to run him in my list. I'll carry on with him because he's mobile. And the railgun, you know, why wouldn't you? So gunship ace, each time this unit's Hammerhead model makes a ranged attack against a monster or vehicle, it's +1 to attack's wound roll. Nice, so that helps get you 2+ to wound, fantastic. And then targeting array, each time this unit's Hammerhead model is selected to shoot, you can reroll 1 hit roll when resolving its attacks. Excellent, this is going to fit in like a dream for the Tau. He's Tau Sept, because for Tau Sept you're rerolling a hit roll or a wound roll. So now I'm looking at 3s to hit with potential reroll hit for Tau or for this. Yep. With mark light hit I'm looking at 2s, and then to wound I'm on 2s to wound against vehicles, 3s against other targets, or 2s, whatever the toughness is, and then that's rerollable as well potentially with the help of the targeting array and being Tau Sept. So yeah, he's just brilliant. And then hover tank. Then the XVO pilot battlesuit. In your command phase, you can select one of a friendly Tau Sept core Hammerheads. This is Hammerhead number 2 that I'll be running in my list. They're in 6 inches, they work together. Until the start of your next command phase, each time model that unit makes attack, the target is treated as having a marker light token. Oh boy. Oh boy. One other friendly. Yeah, so he just blesses them. Yeah, she's going to give, because I think a regular Hammerhead is ballistic skill 4+ now, so he's just going to just execute that in the command phase. They hunt together as a pair and you're going to get your +1 to hit rolls. Lovely, and then you explode. Ooh, it's D6 mortal wounds when you do. It's a long strike. Deadly enough. So strike team here. Profile's the same, I believe, and just the pulse rifle really has just got the AP -1 on it, and they've improved the range I think here. Yeah, I think they were range 30 before, range 36 now for pulse rifles. The pulse carbine is range 24, so giving you a bit of extra range on that as well. You can take a marker light on them. Set up turret. This unit contains a support turret. That model does not need to set up until the unit performs the following action. So deploy turret. In your command phase, any number of breacher or strike team units in your army can start to perform this action. The action is completed in the movement phase. When it's completed, if that unit contains a support turret model, is not on the battlefield, you set that turret model up on the battlefield in coherency with that unit. So then you've got the support turret rules. Support turret models are ignored for the purpose of determining your strength, whether it's below half strength. Ignored destruction of it's ignored for morale. They don't take up a space in the transport. In your movement phase, each time this unit is selected to move, if it contains a support turret model that is on the battlefield, you can remove that model from the battlefield. It does not count as destroyed. So you can pick it up, move it, and then set it up again somewhere else. All common sense, seems totally fine. Breaches will be the same stat line, and then you've got your pulse blasters. So you're looking at close range, which is range 8. Oh, they've simplified this now. It's not 3 brackets anymore, it's 2. So you've got close range and long range. Close range is range 8, which is assault 2, strength 6, AP -2, and long range, which is range 14, assault 2, strength 5, -1. Fine, great. And that's it for them, breachers. Let's just get a little points, a flurry of points here for troops. Long strike, he's 160, he's 160 points. Bargain. Absolute. And what does it take a railgun? Nothing. Okay. Seeker missiles are 5 points. Time. I'll take 2 of those, please. And the smart missile systems probably. Yeah, because it's the same price as the accelerated burst cannon. The iron cannon you actually have to pay an extra 10 points for. Oh boy, right, long strikes in. Well, well, well. Okay, and then breaches are 10 points a time. Crude carnivores are 6 points each. Strike team are 10 points a time for them. Okay. So moving along to Crude carnivores are 6 points each. We've covered those already. They are weapon skill 3+, ballistic skill 4+. The Krotox riders. I think they're elite, I'm guessing. 25 points each, all in. 4 wounds, toughness 5, strength 6, weapon skill 3+, ballistic skill 4+, 4 attacks each. Their fists are fighting at the strength user, which is strength 6, AP -2 and 2 damage, nice. The Kroot 6 up save, the Kroot gun is range 48, heavy 2, strength 7, -1 and 2 damage. So, Crisis Battlesuits, really the main thing here is its units of up to between 3 and 6. Movement 10. They're 4 wounds each now. I think they were that in the previous Codex. They used to be 3, but 4 wounds each, 3 attacks base, 4 for the leader. Leadership 9 for the squad leader. We've covered the weapons already. Covered the upgrades. The loadouts you can go for, and that's it for those. I don't really need to go over them. Covered everything already. I'm loving the idea of Crisis. Always been a major fan of Crisis Battlesuits. I hope to feature them. You've got Crisis Bodyguards. Still the same number of attacks for the models. So you've got Swarm Protectors. While a friendly Sept character unit is within 3 inches of any Crisis models in this unit, each model can't target the character ranged attacks. And the Bodyguard contingent is just the structure of the way it works. Stealth Battlesuits. Next, so Crisis Battlesuits then, you're starting at 30 points a time. Your weapon upgrades, yes, it says here, for some of the models that can take multiples of the same piece of war gear, the points values for that war gear are presented in 3 separate values. For example, +5, +10, +15. Where this is the case, these numbers represent the points cost for taking that piece of war gear for the first time, the second time, the third time, respectively. So for example, so, yeah, but what they point out here is, so for example, a model that took that piece of war gear twice, it would cost 15. 5 points for the first piece and 10 for the second. If they had taken the war gear 3 times, however, it costs 30 points, as it would cost an additional 15 to take the war gear for a third time. So they're not, you know, penalising you. It's costly to take multiples, so it's hurting my fusion blaster idea. I can't take a quadruple by the looks of it. No, because I can only take up to 3. So for example, have they made adjustments? Is it more expensive? No, it doesn't seem to be. No, it costs the same amount whether it's Crisis or Bodyguard. So the air-bursting Fragmentation Projector, for example, one of them costs 5 points. Then it's 10 for the second, but then it's 20 for the third one. Burst Cannons 5, 10, 20. Cyclic Iron Blaster 10, 20, 25. Fusion Blaster is 10, 15, 25. It's not too bad. It's actually a bargain going for 2. The first one's 10 and it's 15. It's not, you're not being penalised. It's not, it's cheaper. See for example, right, flat rate Fusion Blaster 10 points, right? But here, for 2 of them, it's 15 points. Yeah, you're not being penalised, it's actually a bonus. And then 25 points instead of 30. Yeah, just fine. No problem. Missile Pod, 10, 15, 20. In effect, getting the third one for free. Plasma Rifle, 5, 10, 15. There's no change of that one. Shield Drone. Tower Flamer, 5, 10, 15. Okay. Well, what to say about that? Stop. I'll take any bonus that's going, but it's interesting the way that works. And then Stealth Battlesuits. I don't know why they bother doing that, but Stealth battlesuits then, movement 8 on these, 2 wounds each, toughness 4, strength 4, 3 up save. Covered the weaponry already. Drone controller. So in your command phase, I don't think I've covered this one already. In your command phase you can select one drone unit within 6 inches of the bearer. So the drones get ballistic skill 4+, and they lose the threat identification protocol, so they can fire at whatever target you want instead of the closest. Right, homing beacon. If this unit is equipped with homing beacon, it can perform the following action. So homing beacon action. In your command phase, any number of units from your army that are equipped with homing beacons can start to perform this action. The action is completed at the start of the reinforcement step of your next movement phase. When it's completed, the unit performing the action loses its homing beacon, and one friendly crisis core unit that was set up on Manta hold can be set up on the battlefield within 3 inches of the unit and more than 9 inches away from enemy models, even if it's the first battle round. So you can call them in on turn 1, but you still have to stay more than 9 inches away from enemy models. So, yeah, okay, yes, you go for an early ambush with them, so I can see the advantage of doing that. For every 3 of them in the unit, you can take a burst cannon or fusion blaster. For every 3 you can take a drone controller or a target lock. You can take 1 home beacon. And you can take 2 of the following: gun, shield, or marker drone. Camouflage fields. Each time attack is made against this unit, it's -1 to the hit roll. Each time a ranged attack is allocated to a model whilst receiving the benefits of cover, it's +1 to any armor save and throws, so you get nice cover saves for them. And you can infiltrate them in. Stealth battlesuits will cost 25 points each plus the upgrades. I don't know what to think about those. You could use them for grabbing objectives early on. The Ghost Kill. I think he's gone up in wounds. Has he? I think he was 10 wounds. He's 12 wounds now. Movement 12. Ballistics goes to damage chart here. So the movement drops, goes from 12 to 8 to 4. So it's quite crippled down at the lower bracket. Ballistic skill goes from 4+, 5+, and stays at 5+. And the attacks drop as well from 3 down to 1. So the Ghost Kill is 160 points. The Flare Launcher will cost you 15, and the Fusion Blasters are 5 points a time. So the Fusion Collider, 2 Tau Flamers, and so on. So the Cyclic Iron Raker is standard is range 36, heavy 6, strength 7 -2, 2 damage. Overcharge is strength 8, heavy 6, strength 8 -2, 3 damage. Any 1s is a mortal wound. Yep. Okay, scary enough. Just hitting the target needs marker light help. The Tau Flamer, the Fusion Blaster, the Fusion Collider is heavy 3, so not D3, which used to drive me bonkers. It's now straight 3, so you know how many shots you're getting. Strength 9 -4 D6 damage. It's range 24, which is a fantastic range. If you do get to within half range, which is going to be range 12, it's D6 +2 damage. That is scary enough. You can stand up for himself in combat a little bit. It's +1 strength, strength 7, AP -1, 2 damage with his fists. Early warning over, I covered all these. Flare Launcher. Each time the bearer would lose a wound as a result of a ranged attack with a strength characteristic of 7 or more, on a roll of 5+, the wound is not lost. So 5+, feel no pain against heavy caliber weaponry. Ranged attacks. Ah! No! No, no, no! Shield generator. Can't take it. Ooh. Okay. Don't know what to think about the Ghost Kill. With Marker Light help, the Fusion Collider would be scary enough. Especially if you can infiltrate in and get within half range. Ooh, you could take something out quite good. And Tau, you know, re-rolling a hit roll and a wound roll is useful. The Electro Warfare Suit is -1 to hit rolls. You can infiltrate in as long as it's more than 9 inches away from enemy units and the deployment zone, and explodes as well. So, okay, to think about the Ghost Kill, I'm not so sure with that one. And then Farsight Marksman next. Now there's a little trick with these which I think may help keep them in my list, as you'll see. So 3 wounds, 4 up save with these, nothing too special going on. Gains the Marker Light keyword, and that's his job, just kicking out Marker Lights. He is an infantry character, so drone uplink. So in your command phase you can select one sniper drone unit within 6 inches of the Farsight Marksman model. Sniper drone models in the unit have a ballistic skill of 3+. Nice. Each time you select a target, they ignore the lookout sir roll. And each time an attack is made by a sniper drone model, an unmodified roll of a 6 inflicts a mortal wound, in addition to any normal damage. In the marksman stealth field, this unit cannot be selected as the target for range attacks unless it's the closest eligible target to the firing model or is within 12 of the firing model. In your movement phase, if this unit does not remain stationary, it loses this ability until the start of the next movement phase. So if you sit still, you can't be shot at unless the enemy unit's within 12 inches. That's very useful. So I used to have to keep tucking him in somewhere where there's other units shielding him and then he'd get picked off, but I can just tuck him right at the back. And if I stay out of trouble, I can't be shot at. Very, very useful indeed. Ballistic skill 3+. But if I go for tower, I get a single reroll to hit, so 3+ reroll in that shot, so nice and reliable. Tactical drones. Pathfinders, not too much to say about them. The movement's 7 actually on them. How interesting. Crew to movement 7. Strike teams of movement 6. Yeah, so Pathfinders move quick with their little hooves that they have. So you can take an iron rifle, which you've seen already. It's quite a potent weapon. Now there is a rail rifle. Yes, here it is. Range 30, heavy 1, strength 8, -4, 3 damage. And if you wound the target, it's an extra mortal wound. Nice. The semi-automatic grenade launcher. Fusion grenade is range 20, assault 1, strength 6, -1, 3 damage. Or the EMP grenade. Each time a successful hit roll is made for an attack with this weapon, if the target is a vehicle unit, whose characteristics change as it loses wounds, and the start of the next shooting phase, it halves the number of wounds it has remaining when determining what characteristics to use. And then drone controller, Neuro system jammer, gains the keyword for that, and mark light. Tells you how you can upgrade them. Yeah. So they've got some abilities here as well. Target uploaded. This unit can start the fire marker light's action at the end of the movement phase instead of at the start. And Vanguard, you can infiltrate them in. No, they get to make a move of 7 inches. So it's useful for, you hide them behind some terrain. If you're going first, and you move them up. If you're not going first, just stay hidden. Or if vice versa, if you're deployed and you're not going first, you want to hide, then you can make that initial move. So there's a bit of flexibility with them. Because they will be picked on by the opponent, so any way of hiding them and so on is useful. We've got piranhas here. There's 7 wounds with a 4+ save. Movement 16. So you can take your fusion blaster. Whoa. So the piranha fusion blaster is different. How interesting. Range 18, assault 1, strength 8, -4, d6 + 2 damage. If you get to within half range, it's d6 + 4. So a bit more kick with the piranha. Got the piranha burst cannon, which is range 18, assault 6, strength 6, -0, damage. And you can give them seeker missiles. How many seeker missiles can you take? You can take 2. Now they're 1 use only. And again, if you have the ability just to fire them without needing marker light help and so on, then you could load this vehicle up with some utterly deadly firepower in it. You know, if you're going to unleash a piranha fusion blast and 2 seeker missiles, you're going to cause big trouble with that. So you've got some other stuff. You've got outflanking harassers. During deployment, you can set this unit up behind enemy lines, or you can ambush with them. Yeah, you can deploy it up to 6 inches of any battlefield edge and more than 9 inches away from enemy models. So how cheap are they is the question. I have piranhas, I could use them. Yes, I could. They're 60 points each. It's 10 points to take the fusion blaster and 5 points for each seeker missile. So really you're looking at a 75-point model. Well, oh boy, I'm mightily tempted. Now they're painting stuff my old colour scheme, which is the 2 shades of grey, and not really any weathering done on them, so I'd have to do a revamp paint job on them to bring them up to my current colour scheme, which is no problem. I think I have a squad of 3. Keep a look out for piranhas. I think they may well prove to be the popular choice. The other great thing about them is, yes, they've got a lower amount of wounds, 7 wounds, but there's no bracket on them, so they're always going to be firing at their regular ballistic skill. But they won't last too long, so ambushing with them on a flank would be the best way to use them. And they're quick. Boy, are they quick. 16-inch move. Oh boy. Okay, piranhas. Very nice indeed. So, moving along here, you've got Vespid Stingwings, 14-inch move with those, strength 4, toughness 4, 4 up save. The Neutron Blaster is range 18, assault 2, strength 5, -3, and 2 damage. Nasty enough. They can fight in close combat with stinging claws, their weapon skills 4+, strength for the user, which is strength 4, AP -1, 1 damage. Plunge from the sky, so you can deep strike them in. And Vespids will cost 12 points a model. Totally fine. And they're not too bad. Recruit Hounds, 3 attacks each. They fight with their Ripping Fangs, which is strength 3, AP -1, 1 damage. You can reroll advanced rolls and charge rolls more for them with Voracious Predators. They're movement 12, so they are very, very quick. And they're Stealthy Hunters, so they get extra +1 to their armor save and cover, so that'll give them a 4 up. And Recruit Hounds, probably 5 points each. Yeah, 6 points each. I like piranhas. Right, broadsides. Used to run a back line of these, but this is more of a static unit, so perhaps maybe thinking dropping these kind of units and going for something a bit more fluid. You have a bit more manoeuvrability around the board. They are movement 5, so they are slow. They're 8 wounds a time now though, and a 2 up save, so they are built like tanks. So the broadsides, they're 75 points a time, plus the war gear on top, so looking about 100 points each. With all your upgrades, it's not too bad. You know, your upgrades are looking at the high yield missile pod is 10 points a time. The Seeker missiles 5 points. The plasma rifles 10. The twin smart missile systems 15. Heavy rail rifle. It's built into the cost. So you don't have to pay for it. It's built into the 75 points. It's actually actually a very, very good price here. Really good. So heavy rail rifle, range 60, heavy 2, strength 9, -4, D3 +3 damage, and every wound is a mortal wound. Every time you wound, it causes a mortal wound in addition. So you've got the potential of scoring a damage of 14. Yep, if you've got a full house on them. And again, if you go for tower rear on a hit roll, wind roll, and so on, marker light help is ideal. Excellent. The high yield missile pod is pretty much, yeah, maybe they've shortened it. Range 30 of these. I thought they were range 36, so they've cut down the range on them. Ouch, I think. Heavy 4, strength 7 -2, 2 damage. Now I'm swinging back to heavy rail rifles here. Depends on what you need. It really does depend on what you need. And then Seeker missiles, we've seen those already. The twin plasma rifles, just 2 shots, assault 2 instead of assault 1. Only range 30 there again. And then the twin smart missile system, heavy 8, strength 5 -1. Crushing bolt +1 strength 8 -1, 1 damage. We've seen all of these already, apart from this one. Stabilized optics. The bearer does not suffer the penalty to hit rolls incurred for firing heavy weapons in the same turn in which the unit moved. Right, well, great. And does not suffer the penalty to hit rolls incurred for firing heavy weapons at a target that's within engagement range of their unit. Nice, fantastic. And then any number of battlesuit models can be equipped with up to 2 of the following. So advanced target system, early warning override, so on and so on and so on. Right, that's on top of your standard main weapon. So for example, you take the heavy rail rifle or the 2 high yield missile pods, and then on top of that you then choose 2. So those 2 could be a Seeker missile, the twin plasma rifle, the twin smart missile systems as weapon systems, and your war gear upgrades all mixed in there. So my current loadout for these would be taking the standard rail rifle option, heavy rail rifle. I reckon I could stick with the plasma rifles. Yeah, because they're anti-vehicle now, really. They're strength 8 -4, 3 damage. So probably stick with those. Depends what you need. Or the high yield missile pods. useful for clearing infantry and so on. So yeah, they're all really good. Tons of wounds on these now. So really what you're doing now is you can take, you can be equipped up to 2 of the following in any combination. So shield, gun and marker drones. Missile drones, marker drones, gun drones, yeah. So you're adding them into the unit. I guess the way that works now, the saving protocol things has gone. You've got that single once per phase stratagem. But now it's just part of the unit. So you just declare where you're going to allocate the hits to, just like normal. So the drones are going to absorb some of the damage coming through. The opponent's just going to intend to strip away the drones, perhaps with lighter. Here, I've got a question, right? This is a question I've got. If you know the answer, leave it in the comment section below. So let's say you've got one of these, a broadside battlesuit, you've taken 2 drones. So shots are coming in. You might be tempted, if it's low caliber stuff, to say, right, I'm going to allocate these hits to the battlesuit model, just because it's got better toughness, more wounds and so on. Say he takes a couple of wounds, from then on, do those any more hits coming in have to go on the battlesuit? You can't put them out onto the drones, so that's something to weigh up. If you start taking damage on the battlesuit itself, then all the rest of the damage has to come in against that target. That's a question that I'm wondering. I think you do, so it seems that you're going to have to sacrifice your drones first, because otherwise you can't allocate to them if the original model's taken wounds. It's something to think about. So the Riptide, I could bring him back. He's painted up, ready to go. I've sort of brought him in and dropped him quite quick from different lists, but again, a fresh chance here for him. Let's give you an idea on cost. Riptides, they are very popular with Tau players. Oh, standard hammerhead, by the way. Oh, we'll come to that anyway, but it's 145 points. The Riptide, 240 points. 10 points for a fusion blaster. 10 points for ion accelerator. 15 points for a shielded missile drone. And the smart missile systems 5. 240. Oh. So for that you're getting movement 12 drops to 4 to 8, then 4. Ouch. Ballistic skill drops to 4+, 5+, then 6+. Ouch. And attacks go from 6, 5 down to 4. 14 wounds on him, 2 up save. So you can take the heavy burst cannon, which is range 36, heavy 12, strength 6, -2, 2 damage. The ion accelerator, which is what I'd go for. You can go for standard, which is heavy 6, range 72, strength 7, -3 and 3 damage. Nice. The overcharge, again heavy 6, strength 8, -3 and 4 damage. And he ones is a mortal wound. And if, with the fists in close combat, +1 strength, so strength 7, 8 -2, 2 damage. And you can take counter-fire defense system, early warning override, multi-tracker, target lock, velocity tracker. You can take 2 shielded missile drones. He's got a 4+ invuln save for his shield generator. If he explodes, it's D3 mortal wounds within 6 inches. And then the Nova Reactor. In your command phase, this unit's Riptide model can use its Nova Reactor. If it does, roll 2d6. If the result is greater than the remaining wounds of this Riptide's model, the Nova Reactor is burnt out. This ability cannot be used again this battle. Ooh, dicey. Right. Okay. But if it's successful, you get Nova Shield, which is to the start of your next command phase, you get a 5+ feel no pain, which is useful enough. You get boost. In your next charge phase, you can make a normal move up to 2d6. It's risky just to get that. And then Nova Charge, start the next command phase. This model is equipped with a heavy burst cannon. The weapon has a type characteristic of heavy 16. Nice. Otherwise, both profiles as models on accelerator have a type characteristic of heavy 8. Which is an extra 2 shots if it's worth the risk. So obviously when you're on your full wins, just go for it every time, but it gets trickier as time goes on. And just a bit of a bullet magnet, expensive. Hammerhead gunship, 145 as we said. Yeah, he gets targeting array as well, so you get to reroll on hit roll and resolving attacks. Fantastic. So that means if he's Tau, you can shift that reroll over onto the wound. Brilliant. The Skyray, which has been written off over and over again, but it's worth a look now. Skyray missile defense ship. Okay. Here he is, 135. Cheap. How interesting. Okay. I love the look of the model, but they've just never been that great. But now, the Seeker Missile Rack. So the Seeker Missile Rack, it's equipped with, now this is interesting, yeah, it's got 2 Markolites, remember. Yeah, we'll see what rules cover that in just a moment, if there's any. And then the model's equipped with 2 gun drones. So the Seeker Missile Rack, range 72, heavy D3+1, so you're going to get between 2 and 4 shots, strength 9, -3, damage of 2d3. It's alright, and then, yeah, so aerial scanners. For each size unit, Skyray gunship model makes range attack against an aircraft unit. It's +2 to the hit rolls, fantastic. But having said that, the opponent's on -1 for hard to hit, so really it's +1, so you're hitting on 3s, and you can re-roll the damage roll, which is alright. It's pretty reliable anyway on 2d3. Targeting array, each time this unit's Skyray gunship model is selected to shoot, you can re-roll 1 hit roll and resolve in its attacks. And drone dock, hover tank explodes. So it's okay. Can't take any Seeker missiles? Nope. Extras, I mean, no, just on the rack there. You don't use it, it's just, they don't burn out, you just get D3+1 shots every turn. So they're better, it's better for sure, and it's cheap enough. The Devilfish, that sits on 13 wounds, doesn't move up to 14. And movement 12. Little bits of help, little bit extras that comes with here. Armoured Aggression at the start of the first battle round before the first turn begins. You can, if you select the Monk card, Tactical Philosophy of the battle. At the start of the battle, this unit can make a normal move up to 9 inches. Cannot end this move within 9 inches of enemy models. And then Tactical Disengagement. There's a little bit of extra going on with the Devilfish here. At the end of the movement phase, if you select the KOYO Tactical Philosophy at the start of the battle round and applying use and strategic reserves, you can remove this unit from the battlefield if it's within 9 inches of any battlefield edges. Okay, so see what's going on with that. On to the flyers. I don't have any of these flyers yet. We'll see how good they are. So the Razor Shark Strike Fighter, 50-inch move, Blister skill 4+, just the usual 12 wounds, 4-up save. Flyers. So there's fixed price, there's nothing to add to these. The Razor Shark is the Devilfish, by the way, is 95 points, plus a few upgrades for Seeker missiles and smart missiles. Yeah, in fact, take Devilfish and stick a few Seeker missiles on them. That's a pretty cool idea. The Razor Shark Strike Fighter is 155. Sun Shark Bomber, 165. So the Accelerated Burst Cannon, I think we've seen that already. The 8-shot one, yeah. The Quad Iron Turret and 2 Seeker missiles. So the Quad Iron Turret, we've covered that already. Assault 8. No, I don't think we have. It's range 30, Assault 8, Strength 7 -2, 1 damage. If you supercharge on it, then it's Assault 8, Strength 8 -2, 2 damage, and you get mortal wounds. Seeker missiles, airborne, hard to hit, supersonic, and explodes. There's that one. And the Sun Shark Bomber, again 50-inch move, up to. The missile pod we've seen, Seeker missile. It's equipped with 2 Seeker missiles, 2 interceptor drones, and Markolite as well. Drone dock, pulse bombs. Once per turn, after the Sun Shark Bomber has moved in your movement phase, you can select one unit moved across, roll 6 d6s for each vehicle or monster model in that unit, and roll 1d6 for each other model in that unit to a maximum of 10d6. Each 4+ is a mortal wound. Nice. Yeah, fine, great. Bullet magnet probably, but not bad. It's not one use only, just, yeah. Airborne, supersonic and so on. Not bad with flyers. And you've got the Tidewall shield line. I don't think I'll dwell on these too much, it's just like a defensive line. You get some bonuses for keeping units inside and so on. So I'm not going to dwell on these too much. We'll get to the Storm Surge next. So 22 wounds on this thing now. 330 points, and then to add on top of that is the Pulse Blast Cannon, is 10 points for that one. Yeah, Twin Air Bursting Fragmentation Projectors, 5 points extra, Twin Burst Cannons, 5 points on top of that. About 330 though. all in. So ballistic skill 4+ drops to 6+. The problem with 1 to 5 wounds remaining. Yeah, strength drops, but it's not too significant. So the weapons then, it's equipped with a cluster rocket system, 4 destroyer missiles, twin tower flamer, pulse driver cannon, 2 smart missile systems, drone controller, target lock, velocity tracker, and thunderous footfalls. Thunderous footfalls is strength for the user, which is strength 8, strength AP-2 and 2 damage. So cluster rocket system, heavy 4d6, is a blast weapon, so you could get 24 shots against the right target, strength 5, AP-1. So destroyer missile, range 72, heavy 1, strength 12, -5 and 2d3 damage. The bearer can only shoot with each destroyer missile is equipped with once per battle. Each time the bearer is selected to shoot, it cannot shoot with more than 2 of the destroyer missiles. So at least you're getting to shoot 2 in a turn, which is great. You are equipped with 4 of them. So the pulse blast cannon, focus shot, range 24, which is, range 24 for 9th edition is a good stretch of a range. Heavy 2, strength 16, -4 and 12 damage. So it could, with 1 round of firepower, destroy a Baneblade. Yeah, quite comfortably actually. Nice. It's a super heavy killer. Disperse shot, range 48, heavy 6, strength 12, -2 and 4 damage. The pulse driver cannon, which is one I usually choose, but the pulse blast cannon's very good. Range 72 on the pulse driver cannon, heavy 3d3, so between 3 and 9 shots, strength 10, -4 and 3 damage. Yeah, the pulse blast cannon's pretty good. So you've got, it comes built in target lock velocity tracker on it and drone controller. You got 2 smart missile systems on there as well, and then your war gear options, stabilizing anchors. So deploy anchors, an action at the start of the movement phase. There's plenty of actions to remember for the tower scenes. You've got marker lights to do, you've got this one to do, there's other, there's your DS8 tactical support turrets as well. So there's plenty of those to remember. At the start of your movement phase, any number of Storm Surge models from your army can start to perform this action. Right, so it's not limited to one, which is common sense. The action is completed at the start of the next shooting phase. If the action is successfully completed to the end of the phase, each time this model makes an attack, you can re-roll the hit rolls. Re-rolling your hit rolls. It's a walking battleship. This model is eligible to declare a charge in turn in which it fell back. Each time this model moves, makes a normal move, advances or falls back, it can be moved across other models, excluding monsters and vehicles, as if they were not there. It does explode. If it does, on a 6, it's 2d6 range, d6 mortal wounds. And it does have a built-in 4+ invulnerable save with the Storm Surge shield generator. So it is a brute. Firepower is potentially deadly. It's definitely going to be a bullet magnet, but a little bit scary on your depreciating ballistic skill. But it's scary enough for sure. You've got your weapons profiles across here. Points values, which we've pretty much covered most of the points already there for that. And that is the review for the Tau. So impressions, I can't see any problem with Codex. I think Tau will be strong enough for sure. With some clever combinations, you come up with some great combos that will be deadly enough on the battlefield. There's some great stratagems to use, some fantastic Warlord Traits, Relics, all looking strong for the Tau. Things seem reasonably priced in points, bargain some of them. Rules seem straightforward enough. There's a lot of rules, but the rules seem straightforward enough, thankfully. There's a lot of good stuff going on here for the Tau. A lot of improvements for units. Firepower's got even more deadly. A little bit of help for close combat, just a bit of help going on there. The infantry seems to have got a boost, which is nice to see. It's not all about the big guns and so on, but the infantry, with some good combinations, again, can be pretty deadly with their firepower, so they may well have a part to play in Tau armies as well. I'd like to shape the army up for the Tau. And the first list, you'll see that on a YouTube channel membership in the form of an army development video. That's where everyone gets to chip in and make comments and so on. I can adjust the army according to what people suggest and so on. So keep a lookout for that on YouTube channel membership. But Tau Empire, looking strong. Hope to do some experimental battles with them as well and to get the army revamped. I'd like to go for quite a big shake-up. We'll see what happens. There's plenty of good options to choose from for the Tau, and it looks like the Empire will continue to expand with such a codex. That's the review. Check out Goblin Gaming for discount 40k and other gaming systems as well. Just use the link in the video description below, and when you do, it does help out the channel in a small way. But thanks for watching. Keep a lookout for more reviews on the channel, and tune in next time.